to have you with us. Testing 1 2. Check 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Check 1 2.
We are about 20 minutes from post time.
Good afternoon, people. We're
Hello.
glad to be back on board with you today with Harness Racing on YouTube. Harness Tube on YouTube. I get my words right.
Live from the Martinsville Agriculture Fair down here in Martinsville, Illinois. Another beautiful day out.
As we get started with racing, we got 7 races on board for you today.
Featuring the 75th annual Great Midwest Pace and Great Midwest Trot. Quite a tradition in this area. And I think about 5 Topline events.
All right. And so with that, we want to move forward here with some of our sponsors, and we'll give them some time here. David and I will be back for some, well, we can actually do some chatting now, David.
Sure.
Let's go on over and let's look at what we've got here on board for you today. Number one, you want to talk about the IHHA thing.
Absolutely. I'm glad this came up first. You know, right now the IHHA has been working diligently for years and years to try to get a new bill through the House and Senate to help horse racing and save it in our lovely state. And we're closer than ever, folks. The IHHA has been working so hard. They've got Senate Bill 1473 going to the Executive Committee on Wednesday of this week. And if you're a fan, if your heart tells you to, we would appreciate go to the QR code on the screen in the top right corner of that blue circle there. You can point your camera at that and follow the link, and it'll take you to a site to file a witness slip. And what that is basically just telling the politicians in Springfield that you support this bill and what it does for horse racing in the state of Illinois. So if you have time today, it takes maybe a couple minutes, about 4 easy steps. You put in your name, Illinois Harness Horsemen's Association or whatever, and then make sure you click proponent of the bill and then submit it, and it'll be on record. Then we appreciate anyone who's done it. We've got about 500 so far, which is a fantastic number. So if you're out, if you're in the grandstand, if you're watching at home and you're an Illinois horse racing fan or person, go ahead and fill us a witness slip. We'd sure appreciate it.
With that, we're going to take a quick 30-second break here
Go right ahead.
for our sponsors. We'll be back after these messages.
It's candy. Is that down?
Yeah. Now I'm. Oh. I got to get my sources right here.
easier than it used to be to report a scratch. So race 4, we're scratching the 2, Lucky Jade. We'll follow up and get the reason in just a moment. Also in that 4th race, number 2, Lucky Jade, scratched because he is sick. 4th race, scratch the 2, Lucky Jade, scratch sick, and thank you, trainer Sean Nessa, for reporting that to us here in the stands. Just under 15 minutes till post time, the Great Midwest Trot, sponsored by ID Castings. We appreciate them. They date back to 1887. Visit them on Facebook, also at idcastings.com. They've got locations in Noblesville, Indiana, and here in Martinsville. Updating the past performance lines, number 1, Betting on You, had been entered to race Friday at Springfield but was scratched. So Betting on You did not race on Friday at Springfield, so the past performance lines are current in your track program. Number 1, Betting on You, ready to go here today. Most recent start was on May 13. Number 2, Goldie's Louise, raced on Friday at Springfield, finishing 4th, beaten time 2:02.1. That's the 2, Goldie's Louise, 4th, beaten time 2:02.1 on Friday at Springfield. A reminder, today's races are live streamed thanks to our friends at Harness Tube. You can visit them on Facebook, or you can find their channel on YouTube. Just go to facebook.com or youtube.com, enter Harness Tube in the search field. That will take you to their channel. Steve Surratt and David Brink are anchoring the broadcast. Lisa Surratt, of course, is their camera technician. Good to have them with us here for the Great Midwest Stakes at the Martinsville Agricultural Fair. The Great Midwest Trot and Pace originated back in 1950 at the Chicago Paramutuals. They came here in 1954, and they've been here every single year since then. So it's a wonderful tradition. Tim Wilson Jr. is our Master of Ceremonies. Tim, it's the 75th anniversary for the Great Midwest, and I know we've got some wonderful pre-race ceremonies here for Memorial Day coming up.
Yes, Kurt, we do. Thanks for coming back with us again today. I know you're a busy man. Can everybody hear me okay? A little more volume? We're trying to work this out still. Good? That's good. Perfect right there. Thanks a lot. But welcome to the 75th annual the Great Midwest Pace and Trot today. So we've got great weather for it. We do have some ceremonies here. In just a minute, Wes Cornwell is going to lead us in a word of prayer. And then the junior and senior choirs from Martinsville will sing the national anthem for us. And then we'll talk a little bit about our great veterans that allow us to gather here today. So we will be ready with a word of prayer in just a moment. Kurt, it's my pleasure to welcome Wes for a word of prayer before we get started here on this beautiful day.
Thank you. Those who can, please stand and bow our heads in prayer. Dear precious Heavenly Father, Lord, we are so honored to be here today. Lord, we give you praise, we give you glory. You are mighty and powerful, and yet you love us enough to send your Son to make the sacrifice for our sins. And we thank you for that. We thank you that for each person gathered here today, for each person that plays a role behind the scenes, Lord, we pray especially, and we thank you for the veterans who are here. And this day we remember those who did not make it home. And we know that you have honored them. We give them honor and glory today as well. We thank you for each person that plays any part in making today possible. We're so blessed to be a small town, but to have one of the best fairs in the area, and that is because of you. Lord, we pray for each driver today, that you would watch over each one, keep them safe. And Lord, we also pray for each horse, Lord, that you would keep them safe and free from injuries. Again, we thank you for this opportunity and every opportunity that you give us to serve you for the furthering of your kingdom. And it is in the name of your Son and our Savior, Jesus Christ, that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Wes. As the junior and high school choir comes up here in the Martinsville Color Guard, wants to come on up here to sing and present the flag. Kurt, I'm thankful for one thing here in Martinsville. We don't have to worry about people taking knees during the national anthem or just remaining in their seats. The men take off their hats. We do it right. And if there's anybody here that feels like they shouldn't stand, I'll be glad to pay your ticket and get you back out of here. So in case there's any of you out there that happen to sneak in on me, we'll make sure we find you out of here in a hurry. With that, I'll let the junior and high school team sing away. Kurt, you and I like to talk a lot about music, but that's my favorite song. I'll tell you that right now. A beautiful, beautiful song. All the men and women that died for us to be here on this beautiful day, we can never say thanks enough. So anybody that's out there that has served, is serving, or your family members, we know the sacrifices you put through, and we can't say thanks enough, Kurt.
It is remarkable the sacrifices that have been made over the years through our armed forces and specifically on the battlefield that we especially remember here today. And Tim, I know that last night I sat down and there's a website called newspapers.com, and a lot of times that is the website that I will use to research harness racing history, Illinois County Fair history, the history, for example, of the Martinsville Agricultural Fair. But last night, in the course of doing some research on the Great Midwest Trot and Great Midwest Pace, I accidentally came across an article from the late 1960s, and it was a report of a soldier from Martinsville who had given his life on the battlefield in Vietnam. And it does cause one to stop and to pause and to reflect, especially on this day. And you're exactly right. The sacrifices that have been made, sacrifices by so many communities up and down this I-70 US 40 corridor, including and especially on this day, we think of those from right here in Martinsville.
One I'd like to point out in particular, Kurt, is the chief of Martinsville Police, Ryan Slater. He did a tour in Afghanistan and lost 4 buddies in his platoon while he was serving over there. He doesn't talk about it much, but when he does, you can still tell it chokes him up. But I can't imagine taking literally 365 days. They faced mortar volleys, whatever they call it, incoming rounds is what he calls it, anywhere between 1 and 5 times a day for 365 days. Thank God he was able to come out of there okay, but 4 of his good friends didn't, and it's people like that we owe today for.
That is so true. And anytime one has spoken with families who had loved ones who did pay the supreme price, the ultimate sacrifice, and to listen to them reflect and to share memories of those loved ones, it's a very special thing. And I know a few years ago I spoke with a family not far from here, just a little bit west of here over at Topline, and they had a son who gave his life during the Vietnam War. And they talked about the fact that they still had the letters he would write home and how all he wanted was to come home and farm. He wanted to be a farmer. So absolutely, it's incredible what families have done and what their loved ones have done so that we can gather here today in a free country and enjoy the sights and sounds of something as wonderful as the county fair. So it is. It's certainly a day to pause and to reflect.
Yes, it is. And with that, I don't know if you called the first race out, Kurt, but gentlemen and ladies, bring that first race to the track if you would, please.
We'll post information on that later this week on Facebook.com on the Horse Talk Today page, because this is a race with a marvelous tradition. Anytime you talk about a race that's getting ready to observe its 75th anniversary, as we do here today with the Great Midwest, you know that goes back, stretches back with a lot of great races and a lot of great memories over the years. We can tell you this, in the first race today, the Flacco family farms that co-owns the 2 Goldies Louise, they have won 5 times in the Great Midwest Trot. They are one of the winningest owners in the history of the race. And Roshan Trigg, who trains for them, who trains Goldies Louise in this case, Roshan has 5 wins as a trainer in the Great Midwest Trot. Now, with that said, that's not to overlook the others in the race. For example, number 1, Betting on You, Darla Martin Lohman was 3rd in this race last year and got beat less than a length. So she came pretty close to a win last year. We'll see how things go for her with Betting on You in this first race. Number 3 and number 4, both owned now by Jackson Loy. He is a former winning owner. Mike Rogers is a former winning trainer and driver. So there are a lot of connections, Tim, to get us started today, who have raced in this event, who have known success in this event. But Wyatt Avenatti, this is his first time to drive in this race. He drives number 2. And I'm guessing J.T. White, who's in front of us now. J.T., first time in the Great Midwest Trot? Yeah, he nodded his head. So first time for Wyatt Avenatti on the 2-horse and Mr. J.T. White on number 4. Tim?
Speaking of the Avenattis, Kurt, they've been having a heck of a meet down at Oak Grove for those of us who's paying attention. So maybe the kind of meat they're having, they'll buy us a corn dog or a pork burger today and a lemon shake-up. Kurt, what do you think? Spread the wealth a little?
I'm sorry, Tim, one more time?
With the kind of meat the Avenattis are having down at Oak Grove, I thought they might want to spread the wealth a little, maybe buy you and I a pork burger and a lemon shake-up today.
Okay, I will admit I heard you the first time, but I really wanted you to drive home that point. I like how you think.
Yep. Hear that, Avenatti Racing Stable back there? We're counting on you.
All right, David, let's take a moment. We've made the changes now on the race form, and so let me get out of that
Handicap
screen.
these things real quick before they get out.
Yep.
Kurt's down, okay. Looking at the 75th, and Kurt just mentioned, this is the 75th annual Great Midwest Trot. For a race to have that long of a storied history is pretty impressive, regardless of how big or small it is. Looking ahead at the first race would be the Trot, the Great Midwest Trot. Let's go ahead and handicap this one. I went 1, 2, 3 with my pick. I went Darla on top, betting on you for Larry Longnecker out of Darla's barn. Just Darla's consistency at these fairs and in these trots and in these kind of stake trots at the fairs. I just have a lot of confidence in her to not overdrive, maybe just give her horse a chance to do its best out there and hope that's good enough. And I think hopefully with some other breakers maybe and some younger horses that she'll have some good luck there. I went to Goldie's Louise, picking up Wyatt Avenatti on the bike. Always a good thing, especially at these county fairs. He's probably the top driver the last few years. My third choice, I went to the 3, Frontier Duke. Didn't really have a choice there. Just kind of flipped a coin between Mikey's 2 horses. Mikey chose to drive this one instead of he put J.T. White on the 4. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, a bad thing, but I picked a 3 horse. And if Steve is ready, I will toss it over to him to do some handicapping from himself.
Well, absolutely. With that, David, Lisa, I went with 1, 2, 3, just like you. So did Jackie, your mom, went 1, 2, 3. Lisa was different, though. She went 1, 2, 4 in this race.
That's how you get points. You got to bet against the everyone else, right?
Yeah, and speaking of points, I want to make sure I bring this up early. I am leading the points with 81 points. Now, to understand what the points are, we give 10 points if you get first place right.
Yes.
We give 5 points if you give second place right.
Yes.
We give 3 points if you get third place right.
Yes.
And if you box any that you don't get right, you get 1 point.
If you pick a horse, for instance, let's say you have a horse to pick third and that horse wins, we'll still give you a point for picking the horse in the top 3, but not in the right order. So we have this this whole scoring scheme set up to try to keep track of how well we're doing all year long. And hopefully.
And David made the scoring scheme up, and so I want to say what the ratings are so far with that scoring scheme.
Go ahead.
I'm in first with 81 points, followed by Jackie, his mom, with 70 points. David has 69 points, and Lisa is in last place right now with 62.
I boxed everything yesterday. When you're only getting 2 or 3 points a race, it's so slow to add up. But it's interesting to have a contest for us to follow along and see. It's just fun, competitive, friendly competition.
It is. And so with that, we'll go back to the track announcer at this time.
Eddie's wife, Karen, she said that they would have to talk to the horseman's bookkeeper at Oak Grove, through which all the purse payments are dispersed, but she said she would absolutely be all in favor of the plan.
Well, at least she's thinking about it. We've got that going for us. We have a chance, Kurt. That's all we're asking.
You never know unless you ask, right?
It's always no. Absolutely. All they can do is say no, Kurt. All they can do is say no.
While I'm back here, I'm going to go ahead and pull the other guys down. I think we were talking over the post parade, so I'll go ahead and read through our horses in today's 75th Annual Great Midwest Trot. The one horse Betting on You is owned by Larry Longnecker of Sumner, Illinois, trained and driven by Darla Martin Lohman. The two horse Goldie's Louise is owned by Flacco Family Farms, LLC of Alexis, Illinois, Roshan Derez Trigg of Brandon, Mississippi, trained by Roshan and driven by Wyatt Avenatti. The three horse Frontier Duke is owned by, changes the program, it's Jackson Loy owns that horse, trained and driven by Michael Rogers. The four horse Loy's Hank Jr. is owned again by Jackson Loy, trained by Mikey Rogers, make the driver J.T. White. And I'll toss it back to Kurt.
Great tradition.
75 years worth. It's hard to believe, but here we are. Let's hope we're all around to see the 100th, Kurt.
And the nature of this race has changed. For many years, it was held in mid-July. Of course, the fair was held in mid-July back then. And you would see seasoned racehorses come in with a lot of wins and a lot of money on their card. Now, with the fair in May, this race moves toward the start of the spring and summer campaign. And what we often see are horses who may not have a lot of credentials coming into this race, but this race again can prove to be the point where their career begins to take a turn for the better. Here they come, race one. Off and trotting in the Great Midwest Trot, brought to you by ID Castings, and there goes Betting on You out for the early lead. Goldie's Louise comes away in second position. Loy's Hank Jr. and Frontier Duke both off stride, but remember, those horses both making their first career starts today. They head on to the backstretch. Betting on You is the leader. Betting on You is on top by a length and a half as Goldie's Louise travels along in second position. J.T. White moves up to third with Loy's Hank Jr. around stablemate Frontier Duke with Mike Rogers, but the leader is Betting on You. Betting on You trots on by the quarter. 32 seconds for that opening quarter, 32 seconds flat. Betting on You is the leader by just one length. Goldie's Louise getting a good trip, drafting in behind the leader in second after 3/8 of a mile. Loy's Hank Jr., first career start, he's trotting well and moves up into third and has caught the top two and now swings toward the outside, but still 4 lengths off the lead, then a gap of 5 more back of that one to Frontier Duke. Halfway home in the Great Midwest Trot, presented by ID Castings. Betting on You is the leader, only by a length. 1:04 the time for the first half mile. Loy's Hank Jr. is challenging for second on the outside of Goldie's Louise. 5 more lengths then back to Frontier Duke, who's fourth and last as they head past the 5/8 mile mark and onto the backstretch once again here at the Martinsville Agricultural Fair. Betting on You is still the leader, but Goldie's Louise is in pursuit, just a length off the lead. Now, Loy's Hank Jr. made a good bid, but now has lost ground, and here comes Goldie's Louise. We've got a side-by-side battle for the lead as they head to the final turn. 1:35 was the time at the 3/4, 1:35 flat. Betting on You is the leader, saves the ground around the turn, leads it by a length. Goldie's Louise is second. Will try to regroup when they turn for home and make another try at the lead and for the win. It's still Betting on You, the leader. Here's Goldie's Louise again with another try. Betting on You has the lead by a length and a half. Goldie's Louise second. Betting on You, Darla Martin Lohman to win the Great Midwest Trot, presented by ID Castings. Owner Larry Longnecker has his first career Great Midwest victory, and Darla Martin Lohman has hers as well. It was Betting on You to win it. It was Goldie's Louise home second, followed by Frontier Duke and Loy's Hank Jr. The time for the mile, 2:06 flat. 2:06 flat. Betting on You. Tim?
Good race to start the day, Kurt. Nice competitive race. Was within a length of each other there, finishing for home. The two horses that made breaks, making their first time starts, picked up a lot of ground on the lead two horses and finished well. So I think everybody will be pretty happy with that outcome. Very good race. And who's the blanket here by? ID Castings. And our folks from ID Castings will be presenting the blanket to the race winner for this first race. What else are they getting?
Tim, the Martinsville Agricultural Fair has always been fortunate to have a great family of sponsors at the races. And you take a race with 75 years of history, and then you couple this race with a sponsor, ID Castings, that's been manufacturing iron castings, and we're talking quality iron castings, for over a century. Their roots go back to 1887. This is a great pairing of a sponsor and a race for sure.
Absolutely, Kurt. We like tradition here.
Well, Tim, we've reached a milestone here in the first race. This is the first career Great Midwest winner for owner Larry Longnecker and trainer-driver Darla Martin Lohman. How about a hand for betting on you? Darla is a native of Greenfield, Indiana, now makes her home in Effingham, Illinois. There's owner Larry Longnecker standing behind Darla Martin Lohman. There's the ID Castings of Illinois, Great Midwest Trot blanket. Darla assisted by nephew Aaron Martin, and he has very much enjoyed his role helping at the races when he's not busy with his full-time job as an engineer. We talked last year, Tim, about the influence of female trainer drivers in the Great Midwest Trot. 2001, Anna Ruman won a heat of the Trot back in the old two-heat days. 2011, Pam Coleman trained the winner of the Great Midwest Trot. Jill Brown was the winning trainer-driver last year, and now Darla Martin Lohman this year. The ladies are making their impact on this race. Darla, congratulations.
Congratulations, Darla and Larry. You'll never forget that feeling, I promise you that.
And that is also a first Great Midwest winner for the breeder, Double K Acres of Keith Chupp and his family from up at Tuscola. And a first Great Midwest winner for the sire, Lindy's True Grit. Again, the winner betting on you, Illinois-bred 3-year-old daughter of Lindy's True Grit out of Betcha by Cash Hall. Judge, we are official. Thank you, Randy Callahan. Here's the rundown, Tim. From the top, betting on you was the winner. Goldie's Louise, the runner-up. Frontier Duke was third, and Loy's Hank Jr. fourth. 32 seconds at the quarter, 104 at the half, 135 at the three quarters, and the time for the mile was 2:06 flat. It reads down 1, 2, 3, 4, and again the mile in 2:06 flat. Second race, the Great Midwest Pace coming up. Scratch the 2, Showstop and Jenica. Scratch because of transportation issues. And a reminder, the driver of the 4, it's Major Carl Bombay, Jaquavian Carter. Let's go to Tim.
Kurt, before I go announce the pick a winner, I'd like everyone to make sure that they also notice the fine folks at ID Castings presented a beautiful clock. I'm not sure they took it out of the box or not, but trust me, this thing is beautiful, and we can't appreciate that. Not only do they get a beautiful blanket, but a beautiful clock that can hang on their wall for the rest of their life. So thank you very much, gentlemen. We appreciate it. The pick a winner for race 1 was Callie Cooper. If you'll raise your hands and wave them around. Front row? Okay. What do we have for her?
Cilantros, 2 free gingers,
2 tacos from Cilantros for you, Callie. Okay, let's go. Would you give her that and go get some more for me? You're going to be worn out again, I know. I'm going to turn it over to Diane right now. Kurt?
All right, David, we're going to take a minute, give our sponsors just a little bit of time
Absolutely.
here. While this, we appreciate everything that they do.
Yoder Custom Woodworking was started in 1995 by the Yoder family as a retail Amish furniture store in Sullivan, Illinois. They offer custom kitchen cabinets, granite and quartz countertops, built-in office and bathroom cabinetry, and offer a wide range of Amish furniture. Their store is located at 1117 West Jackson Street in Sullivan, Illinois, with store hours Tuesday through Friday 9 to 4:30 and Saturday 9 to 3. For more information, contact Yoder Custom Woodworking at 217-728-2166.
Think you can win the race. You know what I mean? I don't like to be the long shot. I'd much rather be 1-5 than 20-1. But there's a lot of pressure that goes on that I don't think anybody knows behind the scenes unless you've lived with me on a day in and day out basis. My poor kids and ex-wife, they can tell you how it's like when the horses are racing good and when they're racing bad. It's a little different mentality around the house.
Well, I know this, the two drivers that are on the racetrack right now, Mike Brink and Jaquavian Carter, they are both driving in the Great Midwest Pace for the first time in their careers. And the last horse is coming onto the track, and that's where we find Darla Martin-Lohman with Valley Sage. So Great Midwest Pace starters are out.
Okay, David, real quick, let's talk about our picks.
It's pretty easy, 1, 3, 4.
It is.
Only 3 horses left. I went top down, 1, 3, 4. I saw that Berryessa Brush race over at Springfield. Saw the last quarter in 28-1. I think there's some speed there. If Mike takes care of her, she wins this thing, hopefully. Second choice, Valley Sage, Darla Martin. She's tough right now. She's got these fares locked up. Moved her second. And my third choice, it's Major Carl Bombay, picking up Fat Man Jaquavian in the bike. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in his first Great Midwest Pace.
Well,
what do you got?
Steve and Lisa picked the 3 horse in this race, Valley Sage, Darla Martin-Lohman, and we basically went the same 3-4-1 in this race. Jackie went with the 1 horse like you did, but she will have a 4-3, so she's bookend because of that scratch.
You know, Kurt was just talking about today's the first Great Midwest Pace or Trot for Mike Brink and Jaquavian Carter. The interesting point is there's over 50 years between those two individuals. Mike is 72 years old, and Jaquavian's just 19, I think, this year, maybe 20 this year. So it's just fantastic to hear, you know, not only do we have women competing, but, you know, I don't want to call Mike a senior citizen, but he's a 65 plus, and it's just cool to see a level playing field on such a competitive, interesting sport.
Absolutely. And with that, after we've gone off for our picks, we'll go back to the track announcers.
Again, brought to you by our friends at ID Castings. Number 1, Berryessa Brush, owned by Kathy Ritzel of St. Jacob, Illinois, trained and driven by Mike Brink. Number 2, Showstop and Jenica Scratch. Number 3, Valley Sage, owned by Don Asaro of Hazelwood, Missouri, trained and driven by Darla Martin-Lohman. And number 4, it's Major Carl Bombay, owned and trained by Jacob Radel of Edgewood. The driver is Jaquavian Carter. By the way, we should tell you that number 4, it's Major Carl Bombay, did race on Friday at the Illinois State Fairgrounds at Springfield, finished 6th with a beaten time of 2:04 1/5 of a second. First time to drive in the Great Midwest for Mike Brink on number 1 and Jaquavian Carter on number 4. We know Darla Martin-Lohman has driven in the Great Midwest Series because we just saw her win the Trot as she now tries to pull the double here today. Tim?
It is hard to believe Mike Brink making his Great Midwest debut. As many, like you said, as long as he's raced horses here in Illinois, that's a pretty amazing fact. I figured he'd have raced in this many times before, so we're glad to have him here and him to bring a horse down here and race in this.
Mike Brink is a horseman who is based at the Illinois State Fairgrounds at Springfield. He has been one of the leading trainers in the Midwest for many years. He has raced Illinois Horses of the Year. He has raced his share of Illinois State Fair champions. He has raced his share of Night of Champions winners at Hawthorne. But he did indeed tell us this will be his first time ever to compete in the Great Midwest Pace. Same for owner Kathy Ritzel. This is the first time she has had a starter in the Great Midwest. Same for Dawn Asaro. First time she has had a starter in the Great Midwest. Jacob Radel, the owner of number 4, is Major Carl Bombay. Jacob comes from a dairy cattle family in Effingham County. His family for many, many years has been very much involved in the dairy industry, and a few years ago they branched out into standardbreds. Jacob has had horses that have raced in the Great Midwest Pace in the past. So, Tim, we're about to answer the question, who will the champion be in this race for 2025?
You know, Kurt, and I love to hear that, and I don't know those owners, but I hope they're here today, seeing what a great fair we have, what a great track we have, and they decided to keep entering these horses and nominating them for it in the future, and we just keep making this thing bigger and bigger.
We spoke with owner Kathy Ritzel earlier this week, over the weekend, about Berryessa Brush, and Kathy told us she actually grew up in northern Illinois, up at Marengo, Illinois, and she had a teacher who was an owner and breeder of harness horses, the late F. Paul Jenkins. Paul was a school teacher and a very astute observer of the game, bred a lot of nice Illinois breds. He was a big influence on Kathy. She enjoyed a career, I believe, around 40 years as a special education teacher, and she has retired from that profession. She's a racehorse owner. Here we go, folks. It's time for the Great Midwest Pace, brought to you by ID Castings. They are off and pacing, and all three come out firing for the lead. Berryessa Brush will have the benefit of the inside starting spot and save some ground around the turn, but it's Major Carl Bombay is fired up on the far outside and has the lead now. It's Major Carl Bombay, makes the top at the end of the opening 8th mile, but is off stride. So Valley Sage is going to move by along the inside lane and take the lead at the midpoint of the backstretch. Berryessa Brush is right there behind that one in second position. Then a gap of 3 more lengths back. It's Major Carl Bombay is back on the pace, and it's Major Carl Bombay is now catching up to the other two as they go nose to tail off a quarter in 33 and 1/5 seconds. It is Valley Sage, the leader. Valley Sage is on top and leads it by 1.5 lengths for Darla Martin-Lohman. Mike Brink sitting in the second spot there with Berryessa Brush, and it's Major Carl Bombay right there with the other two despite that early break in stride, and travels along in third for Jaquavian Carter as they still have one circuit to go here, halfway home in the 75th anniversary Great Midwest Pace presented by ID Castings. It is Valley Sage who is the leader. 1:08 was the time for the first half mile, 1:08. So a leisurely pace, but no one coming forward to put the test to Valley Sage just yet. And off a first half mile in 1:08, that could make Valley Sage very tough to handle. We're about to find out, though. And now here's the test, and all three are going to line up across the racetrack. You've got Berryessa Brush between horses. You've got Valley Sage to the inside, and it's Major Carl Bombay is there to the far outside. Less than a length separate these three as they go as a team past the 3/4 mile mark. It's Major Carl Bombay is off stride, 3/4 in 1:41. Valley Sage is the leader. Berryessa Brush is in second. A length separates the top two, and then a gap of nearly 20 more back to its Major Carl Bombay. They turn for home. Valley Sage will try to hold off Berryessa Brush. The gelding Valley Sage, the filly Berryessa Brush. Valley Sage has the lead. Berryessa Brush rolling on the outside under a full head of steam. Berryessa Brush gets up and wins it by a half length on the line. Berryessa Brush by a half length on the line has won the Great Midwest Pace presented by ID Castings, a first ever win in the Great Midwest Pace for owner-breeder Kathy Ritzel, trainer-driver Mike Brink. Valiant effort by Valley Sage to be runner-up. It's Major Carl Bombay was third. Time for the mile, 2:12 flat. Tim?
What a race, Kurt. Wow. I would have loved to have seen what happened had the four not broke stride around the last turn again. We might have had a three-horse battle within a half a length of each other there. That was getting interesting. That was some kind of excitement down the backstretch, watching them go three wide and into the turn until the four made a break. But then we had two of them going head-to-head, and poor Darla, I think she got snapped out of her winning both today. But you can't complain being first, second, that's for sure, Kurt. She gave it all she had, that's for sure. Mike must have known something, Kurt, in order to come down here the first time is what I'm thinking. We talked about that yesterday. I think he must have thought he had a special horse that could get the job done here in Martinsville, or he wouldn't have shipped all the way from Springfield for today.
And, Tim, we mentioned the fact we talked to owner-breeder Kathy Ritzel a few days ago about this filly, Berryessa Brush. And she had told us that this filly loves treats. Her favorite treats are made by Purina. The name Berryessa comes from a winery that is located in Lake Berryessa, California. Kathy Ritzel, what a moment this is. There's Kathy. There's the winning owner-breeder coming trackside. Kathy, congratulations. You've won the Great Midwest Pace. And Mike Brink, the trainer-driver.
Congratulations,
We
Mike.
talked about it yesterday. He's won practically every major stake in Illinois through the years, but until today, Mike had never competed in the Great Midwest Pace. So Mike Brink also first career win in this event. There's the ID Castings of Illinois Great Midwest Pace blanket. And Tim, you mentioned a moment ago, is it a clock that is in the box? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Beautiful clock. And again, thank the folks at ID Castings. They could have just done one race. No, they wanted to do both the Great Midwest Trot and Pace, Kurt. So we can't thank them enough for this great sponsorship they provided today. Congratulations, Mike. Come back again now, will you?
Out of Liberty, Illinois, now based at the Illinois State Fairgrounds at Springfield, Mr. Mike Brink, the trainer-driver. Kathy Ritzel can't believe it. She has got the spoils of victory tucked under each arm. Kathy, congratulations to you. Thanks so much for your support of this race.
Thank you very much. Kurt, my race 2 pick-a-winner, Lynn Good, gets a nutty bar and some sweet corn. Lynn, if you could raise your hand. Thank you, sir. We see you. And don't forget, guys, get your pick-a-winners in early. We're getting a pretty good crowd here now. We like to see that, but we don't want anybody to get shut out on your pick-a-winners. So please get those filled out, and we're going to turn it over to Miss Diane Reeds if she's ready.
Hey, Tim, one other.
Which means we're going to come back on our microphones.
Hey.
I got a couple stories. I'll let you go ahead and work on some things over there. A couple stories over here. Good to see Darla have such a good showing in the Great Midwest Trot and Pace. I got a story on Darla. Whenever I was a young pup 20 years ago starting to drive, I think I was about 2010 maybe, I was driving against Darla at Jerseyville, and she kind of, being a veteran horseman she is, and I appreciate how she drives. She kind of takes care of her horse, right? Well, in that particular race, she carried herself a little bit wide in the third turn to give her horse a better angle around the turn, and me being inexperienced as I was, I thought it was room enough for me to sneak up in there. Darla wasn't too happy about that. She ended up beating me anyway, but we got off the track and I had to apologize and eat some crow a little bit. But it happens. Young drivers got to get their teeth cut somewhere somehow, right?
Absolutely. And David, so far today, I got to say this, you've won both races. Of course, all four of us won the first race. The second race, or the second place you got right, and the third place you got right. Elisa did not get third place right. Your mom got first place right, but she switched her. No, she got hers. She got hers right all the way through. So you, I, and your mom all got the same points. Lisa didn't get as many points.
Does that mean you're keeping track of the points today, or I have to?
Well, I got my sheet here,
okay.
so I should be able to keep track of that.
See
put it off to the side.
if you're distancing yourself from us or not.
Yep, and then in the second race, you picked the winner. You picked it in the right order. I did not. I'm going to get a box, of course, because there's only 3 horses. I didn't get any right in the right place. Neither did Lisa. And your mom got first place, but she did not get the other 2 in the right order.
Well, we'll get those points tallied, and we'll let you know what the scores are right now. But I'm just so happy to see 2 veteran, quality horsemen in Illinois between Darla Martin Lohman and Mike Brink winning the Great Midwest Trot and Great Midwest Pace. Their names have been in the programs and the racing in the state for 50 years. And for those of you listening, Brink, of course, that sounds familiar. Yeah, Mike Brink is from Liberty. He's one of the Brink clan from over around that direction. He's not necessarily my first blood, but I think we are. His dad and my grandpa were brothers, so we're all from the Adams County area. Glad to see some local connections coming up with a big win in the Great Midwest Pace.
All right. With that, let's take a look at some of our images and slides here that we've got out here. David, while we've got a break in the action here, again, we want to talk about this as much as we possibly can, about the IHHA thing.
Absolutely.
And talk about that, and then we can move to the next slide.
I keep saying it. I've been asked for years and years and years by horsemen, what can we do? We want to help. We know there's a problem. We see the solution. How do we make our voice heard? And, for years it's frustrating. We didn't really have a bill to move. We didn't have anything to even talk about. But to have the bill in the executive committee on Wednesday is a huge deal. And to go online, the QR code, snap a picture of that, follow the link, takes you to the website to file a witness slip on behalf of the horseman. If you're a horse fan or horse trainer, owner, farrier, veterinarian, whatever, if horse racing affects your life in any way in the state of Illinois, you'd like to see it continue, we'd sure appreciate you following that QR code, typing in your identification information, letting us know that you're represented by the Illinois Harness Horsemen's Association, be a proponent of that bill, and then just go ahead and file that. And those petitions are being signed basically and given to the committee whenever they go to meet on Wednesday to see who's supporting the bill from across the state and who's against it. And as of right now, I think there's over 500 supporting signatures on that witness slip for our bill. So it's great numbers. We appreciate all your help. If you're out there, we urge you, if you haven't done one yet, go ahead and fill one out.
All right, with that, we're going to take a break and go to a commercial break here.
Okay.
And do some things, but we'll be back after these messages.
Make plans now to attend the 27th Annual Illini Classic Yearling Sale, which takes place on Labor Day at the Illinois State Fairgrounds in Springfield. Once again this year, the catalog will offer not only a strong lineup of Illinois conceived and foaled yearlings, but also an excellent supporting cast of colts and fillies eligible to other state-bred programs in the Midwest and on the Eastern Seaboard. It's the Illini Classic Yearling Sale, Monday, September 1st, beginning at 11 a.m. Central.
And we're back on Harness Tube. Looking ahead at the third race, we're getting out of the Great Midwest Trot and Great Midwest Pace. We're moving into the Topline events. Interesting note on the Topline. Topline, the series, is open to horses bred across the world. It's not limited to just Illinois breds, Illinois conceived and foaled horses. It's open to any horse across the state who go ahead. Oh, we're going to throw it back to Kurt because he's on the microphone. So here's Kurt with the post parade.
Thank you, Diane, and our thanks to our friends at S&W Electric, the sponsor of the blanket for the Topline 2-year-old trot. Race 3 in your scorecard, a purse of $2,000. Remember, the Topline is open to the world. It is not restricted to Illinois breds. Number 1 is Indiana-bred Girl Math, owned by Nori Nessa of Fairfield, trained by her son Sean, the driver Isaac Love. Number 2, the New Jersey-bred Pink Ice, owned by Ed Teefy, from up at Mount Sterling, Illinois, trained by Philip Cotton, driven by Matt Avenetti. And number 3, Woodside Acres Dirk, owned and trained by Tanner Saltzgaver of Dewey, Illinois. Woodside Acres Dirk, the Illinois bred in the lineup, Wyatt Avenetti will drive. Tim, just to finish that thought, I think the best trotter, maybe the greatest trotter I ever called in a race, was also in the late 80s, a filly by the name of Peace Corps. Peace Corps, what I admired about her, she always brought her A game. It did not matter if it was at Springfield, DuQuoin, or a race on the East Coast. She was so dependable week in and week out, both as a 2-year-old and again as a 3-year-old. So I would rank her the greatest trotter I personally had a chance to call, but I would put Mac Lobel overall at the top of the list.
You know, it's funny because Mac Lobel was my second choice. I was standing in the draw gate that day when he set the world record and your dad called it, and as a 20-year-old kid, to see him trot like that, it gave me goosebumps, and it's something I will never forget. But it was just hard for me to say a mare that made $7 million was not the best trotter of all time. So Mac Lobel and Peace Corps, both, by the way, driven by the great John Campbell. They had probably the greatest driver ever in the history of the sport, two great trotters. John's a great guy and a great ambassador to the sport. So he got to drive some nice horses, but there was a reason he got to drive nice horses, because he was real good at what he did.
John Campbell, a native of Canada, came to the Meadowlands in the U.S. back in the 1980s and absolutely just set the harness racing world on its ear with his ability to sit in the race bike, get behind a horse he'd never seen before, never driven before, and absolutely get the most out of it. Right now, it is race 3, the Topline 2-year-old trot, brought to you by S&W Electric. 3 2-year-old trotters lined up, ready to go. Some problems there for Woodside Acres. Dirk swerved to his left, now straightens course. Here they come. They are off and trotting, and there goes Girl Math out for the lead. Girl Math, one of the 2 fillies in the lineup, the Indiana bred, goes out and has the early advantage and opens up right away on a 4-length lead, but she's off stride. Girl Math goes on a break. Pink Ice and Woodside Acres Dirk, with Woodside Acres Dirk moving by for the lead now. Woodside Acres Dirk has the lead, but for how long? Girl Math has regained her stride and is now moving back up. She lost ground, she gave up the lead, but now she has regained it on the outside, still toward the outside lane at the quarter-mile mark. Girl Math leads it for Isaac Love. Woodside Acres Dirk is second, and Pink Ice is third. 37 seconds was the time for the opening quarter. 37 seconds. Woodside Acres Dirk has broken stride. Woodside Acres Dirk, while racing in second, broke stride, lost about 5 lengths to the leader, and now is in a tussle for second with Pink Ice. The leader is Girl Math. The Indiana-bred filly Girl Math is on the lead as they come on down toward the half-mile mark in the S&W Electric 2-year-old Topline trot. Isaac Love in the race bike as Girl Math is halfway home here in third race. Keep in mind, all 3 of these horses making their first career start. 1:10 and 2 for the first half mile, 1:10 and 2. Again, first-time starters all here in race 3. So really, the goal, we talked about this yesterday, this time of year with 2-year-olds, just get them some racing experience, get them a chance to see the starting gate, to get used to the sights and sounds of the county fair. And Girl Math has handled it pretty well. She had that one bobble early on when she broke stride, but now she's on top, and she leads it by about 25 lengths with a quarter mile to go. Woodside Acres Dirk is second, and Pink Ice third. 3 quarters in 1:44 flat. 1 minute, 44 seconds flat at the 3/4 mile mark. It is Girl Math who shows the way. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go. Girl Math with the lead by better than 25 lengths now. Back to Woodside Acres Dirk and Pink Ice in third. Turning for home, Girl Math, the Indiana-sired filly, will win this race. She will take the S&W Electric blanket, and she will do it by a convincing margin. Girl Math, Isaac Love in the race bike in those red, black, and white driving colors. It will be Woodside Acres Dirk across the wire second, and Pink Ice finishing third. 2:17 and 2. The time for the mile, 2 minutes, 17 and 2/5 seconds.
You know, Steve, not every race is as pretty as we hope. You know, sometimes when you have 3-horse fields with all first-time starters, it's just trying to get around the track safely, get a start under their belt, and teach them something, really.
First-time start.
Well, and they might run with a couple of horses on the track, but usually not in a race situation.
Right.
That's the other
even
factor.
Training. I mean, you look at like a professional athlete, they might scrimmage, but it's not the same as a game. You know, even preseason games aren't the same as real full-speed stuff. So this is the first time they ever asked to actually give it their all and try to, you know, compete at a level. And you know, they all did well. They're young horses. It's a long season.
Absolutely, and a good race. I mean, good opportunity for them to do this. This is really early in the race season.
And the Topline series is a fine place for them to land. It's only, you know, smaller purses. Maybe it's not contributed by the Illinois, you know, Department of Ag, but for a $2,000 purse, you got a training mile to teach your horse something. So we appreciate the Topline series and all that they do, all their fairs that host them.
I'm looking at the results here. David.
I blew up.
Yeah. The only thing you got was the second place, so you got 7 points in that. And let's see. Same thing for me.
All right.
So you didn't gain any on me there.
Nope.
And Lisa did 1, 2, 3. So your mom, excuse me. Your mom did 1, 2, 3. Lisa did the same as us with 7 points.
Ooh.
And your mom, 10, 11, 12 points out of that.
Wow. It can swing real quick.
It can.
Yes, it can, Kurt. And since it is Memorial Day, and I'm not sure how many people know this. I know you know this, Kurt, but Sean's dad was a United States Marine. And obviously, I have a real soft spot in my heart for Marines since my son is one. And so John and I always went way back and always enjoyed a good time, John. He was a great guy, left us way too soon. But yeah, I'm not going to argue with Sean. Okay? If you can, I'll be right behind you, Kurt. A long way behind, right? Well, about this distance. I'll call for backup later on after you need it, okay?
Well, you mentioned Sean's father, Nori's husband, the late John Nessa, was a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps in the 1960s during the Vietnam era. And Sean looked the part, did he not? I mean, Sean was about 6'3", and I always said he had what looked like a prize fighter's jaw line. And I think when John Nessa walked up, it was sir, yes, sir. And he did. He served his country with honor and distinction. Well, folks, how about a hand for the winner of race 3, number 1, Girl Math. Girl Math is indeed owned by Nori Nessa of Fairfield, trained by her son Sean, driven by Isaac Love. There's the S&W electric blanket, of course, S&W right here in Martinsville. And a business, Tim, that knows a thing or two about harness racing itself, for sure.
Yes, they do, Kurt. Cassidy Witten, Mitchell's husband, has been having quite the success the last several years. Mitchell's a great guy. If you need any electrical work, just give him a call around town or in Clark County, anywhere. He will take care of you. I'm not sure if Cassidy is racing down at Oak Grove today. I did not see her, so I bet she's down at Oak Grove today. Kurt, my pick a winner for race 3, Robin Whitaker. We have a winner. Yes, right in front. Thank you, Robin.
I already went away.
I don't care. It wasn't questionable.
Make plans now to attend the 27th annual
They got
Illini
the quarter
Classic
in
Yearling
37
Sale, which
seconds,
takes place
the
on
half
Labor
in
Day at the
1:10
Illinois
and
State
2/5,
Fairgrounds in
3
Springfield.
quarters in
Once again this
1:44,
year, the Cattle Log will
mile
offer not only a
2:17
strong lineup
and
of Illinois
2. Reach
conceived and
down,
foaled
1,
yearlings, but
3,
also an
2.
excellent
So
supporting
the fourth
cast
race is
of
coming
colts and
up.
fillies eligible
The
to other
Topline
state-bred
2-year-old
programs in the
State Farm
Midwest
Insurance
and
Mike
on
Hurt,
the Eastern
agent. He is the
Seaboard.
blanket
It's
sponsor.
the
Talked to
Illini
Mike
Classic
earlier
Yearling
today. Of
Sale,
course, he
Monday,
sang the
September
national
1st,
anthem
beginning
for
at
us
11
yesterday.
a.m. Central.
And we remind you to scratch the 2, Lucky Jade. Scratch the 2, Lucky Jade, scratched sick. Tim?
Okay, Kurt, we've talked about standard breds now, so now I'm going to put you on the spot after Diane gets done playing.
Okay, David, what we're going to do here's how we stand now with our standings.
Halfway through the second day of racing, where are the points at?
Well, David Brink has moved in to first place.
When you nail 2 trifectas, it helps.
Is tied with his mother. Jackie Bowen tied with David Brink. I'm in second with 109, so I'm only 3 points behind. Lisa pulling up the rear. She's got 25 points on the day, but that's not near enough. So she's at 87 and in fourth. So we have tied for first. I'm in second, and Lisa is in third.
we'll keep these scores going all season long and try to keep you following along of where we're at, who's winning, who's doing good. It's fun to have something to talk about, right? You know,
it is, and it's fun. We encourage you, if you want to send your picks to David on the online app. There, you can do that.
And then we can make fun of you if you're wrong, like I am.
Yeah. We won't keep track of your points because that's
Right.
pretty inconsistent when people are on. But the four of us will be doing it. We'll have to get Jackie's when she's there, when she's not there.
Absolutely.
And keep her in the race. So, but having a great time out there. And I think the girls are talking about the fact that she's in second place.
I think so too.
Her first place. Did you see that?
I saw some chatting going on. Well, looking ahead at race number 4, if we're handicapping, we got to do some shuffling around. We got a scratch in here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the handicaps while we got an
So
opportunity.
in race 4, we're going to scratch the 4. Lucky Jade was sick, I believe, is what they announced. I had picked 1, 2, 3 as my choice, which obviously can't fly now with Lucky Jade at home in the barn. So
it'll be 1, 3, 4.
I'm going to move up 1, 3, 4. Yeah.
Putting you on the spot, so somebody could be mad at you out there in thoroughbred land.
I have to do well. I've got 1, 3, 4 already. Elisa's got 1, 3, 4. Jackie picked the 2, so it's going to be 1, 3, 4 for her. So guess what?
You guys can't catch me.
Nobody.
No matter what happens this race,
your
I'm still in
mom's
the
not
lead.
going to lose any points on you.
Nope. Oh, I'm not going to lose any on her either.
And so that's what's going on so far with this. And again, interested why Evanetti is in this race. Matt Evanetti is in this race.
And
JJ
Quajavian Carter's driving this one, right?
Yep.
I think they wear the
Young
same.
pups.
Yeah, they wear the same colors. Him and JC and Jaquavian, but I think that's JJ out there. I think I saw.
Yeah, JJ's supposed to be driving this
Love
horse.
to have young drivers. Love to see young 20-year-olds competing against 70-year-olds. I mean, what other sport does that happen? 7-year-old. Let's keep in mind the 7-year-old won last time, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so, again, a great day of racing going on today. Let's take a look at some of our other things that we need to do here.
Okay.
We can move on from that slide as we've done that. But we've got a big race schedule, David, in store for fans for this summer.
Over 25 dates, yeah.
Yeah. Most we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa and I are going to miss at least one. But you can take a look at it. You're at Martinsville this week. Carrollton on Wednesday.
Coming up Wednesday, we're going to Carrollton down to Greene County. Love racing down there. They have a great beer tent that's always popping whenever the horses go by. There's lots of horses on that stable there, on that track. Good surface. It's going to be fun. Another fun day of racing this week.
And you got to talk to the locals. We talked to a gal at a restaurant today, giving us all the heads up of where we need. They said
Big Al's Lemonade Shake-Up, Rogers French fries. Yeah, we got the hookup this morning.
The Chinese wagon, and
I forgot about that.
And she told us about the Mexican, but we ate at the Mexican restaurant, the actual restaurant last night.
We did last night in Casey over there, and we were fortunate enough to have a friend pick up the bill.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think good things happen to people who do crazy stuff like we're doing.
Yep, absolutely. And so, and then Carrollton, isn't it Carrollton that they've got a sandwich that you like down in Carrollton? Is there a pork chop or something?
Okay, so the Carrollton thing is infamous. Back in the day, there was a restaurant called the Brass Door in Carrollton, and they had a hamburger, cheeseburger, whatever, that they served at the Greene County Fair that was the thickest, juiciest burger I've ever had. I don't know if they steamed them and then finished them on the grill or what they did, but it was delicious. I think that might be out of business now. I'm not sure what's going on down in Carrollton, but that sandwich was fantastic.
And every fair has its food.
Yeah, here, what is it saying? The pork burger here. There was a line the length of the grandstand for pork burgers about noon today.
Yeah, not sausage, folks. Pork burgers.
Pork burgers.
Unseasoned, not seasoned like a hamburger.
Yeah. I love them. Throw some mustard on them.
Great food. There's more than harness racing going on at these fairs, folks. Get out to the fairs. Enjoy the fair food.
Enjoy your friends and family. It's a great day.
Before we did this, Lisa and I would make at least the Brown County Fair both days. And why did we go? We went because of the food and the horses.
It's the whole atmosphere, right? If you're going to be here, the horse racing is going on, but go get food. Ride or ride if the rides are open. Talk to your friends and family you haven't seen in a long time. Community fairs are great for camaraderie, for community, for for history, for tradition, it doesn't get any better than county fairs.
Lisa and I do during the basketball season, David. We do a thing. We kind of rate popcorn.
That's
there's
a genius
variety of difference between
Absolutely.
every school, and I will tell you, hands down, best popcorn in Central Illinois is at Minden Unity. The Mustangs
how about
put
that?
out the best, and it's the best value. You get a huge bag of corn for like $2.
Well, it's nowhere near Martinsville, but if you're, that's the place to go, huh?
Yeah, and
a
then,
Minden sporting event.
Then I have to say, my grandson's school, Holy Cross up in Champaign, has the least expensive soda. They give you like 16-ounce soda for $2.
Wow.
and so we search these things out, and I'm the same way at county fairs. And David knows, what am I looking for when I go to the state?
Cheese curds.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to have not the perfectly formed
No,
cheeseburgers,
the
the ones that are dropped
lumpy,
in and
bigger,
lumpy.
smaller, yeah.
Yeah, got to have that. I tell you what, let's start a chat. We like doing this. Tell us what your favorite
Fair
food is.
Throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on the screen if we get some good answers here. But looking at the screen, I think we got Kurt's on the microphone. The horses are at the gate. I'm going to throw it back up to the booth.
All right.
Sure taken, because they get drug out of the stall, and people come up and want to. The horses were very kind.
Well, that's all. I mean, to be you are literally around greatness, though. I mean, it's easy to. A lot of people say great this, great that. That you were truly around greatness at that time.
Well, it's been a privilege to be involved with those horses and those races. But as we talked yesterday, a lot of us would have never had a career in the horse business, standardbred or thoroughbred, if not for the Illinois Fair Circuit. And to be able to get started as a teenager working the fairs with my dad, coming to fairs like Martinsville, that is what laid the groundwork, and would not have this career if not for the Illinois Fairs. Here they come, race number 4, ready to go, the Topline 2-year-old pace. They are off and pacing. There goes Making New Friends out for the early lead. Just Chasing Tails comes away in second. The Preacher Said is away in third. These 3 2-year-old pacers, and again, all making a first career start, get away in good order, and they line up single file around the first turn and headed over to the back stretch. We talked about this yesterday. You noticed the drivers very careful with these 2-year-olds, just letting them find their own rhythm, letting them find where they want to be, how fast they want to go. The main point, get that racing experience, and that is the case here in race 4. Past the quarter-mile mark, it is Making New Friends, the leader by just over 2 lengths. 34 seconds for the opening quarter, 34 seconds flat. Making New Friends leads it. Just Chasing Tails is second by a gap of 4 lengths, and the Preacher Said is third as they complete 3/8 of a mile here in the State Farm Insurance race in race 4. So coming toward the half, Making New Friends and Just Chasing Tails. They continue to go 1-2. Now Just Chasing Tails takes toward the outside, starts to move forward carefully as they move by the half, but is still in the second spot. So Making New Friends remains the leader, at least for now, as they go by the half. 107. Thank you, Mark Kingery. 107 for the first half mile. Back past the stable area and around the turn they go. Making New Friends is the leader. That's the only filly in this lineup. Just Chasing Tails, a gelding, once again starting to draw alongside. He's got the nose right alongside now, and in fact, they're matching strides as they hit the midpoint of the backstretch. Just Chasing Tails to the outside, Making New Friends to the inside. The brothers Avenatti, Matt and Wyatt, going at it for the lead, and Just Chasing Tails broke stride. 3/4 and 138 flat. So Just Chasing Tails made a break. Now she's second, or he is, I should say. 5 lengths off the lead. There's 1/8 of a mile to go. Making New Friends is the leader. The gap is still 5 lengths back to Just Chasing Tails in second, and then a dozen more lengths to the Preacher Said. Moving through the stretch and to the wire, Making New Friends, the filly, is going to win it. Making New Friends, the Indiana-bred filly, takes the victory by 3.5 lengths. It was Just Chasing Tails second, and then a gap of another dozen lengths or so back to the Preacher Said in third. 2:07 and 4. Very respectable 2-year-old mile in the month of May. 2:07 and 4. Making New Friends a winner in her first career start.
Cindy Allison. Nutter butter. Nutty bar.
Another good race. Here we go. I mean,
Awesome.
I can't.
Awesome race.
little different style. That last one, the first one we saw with the Trot, was a little more taking care of your horse. This one, they came up pretty big last half. These are 2-year-olds making their first lifetime start. That last half came a minute and 4/5. You know, that there's some speed in those horses, those two. So another great race out there.
Yep.
And Timmy's back on the microphone. I'll toss it back to him then.
On that race, as she came by here at the start gate, she was eyeballing us on the stage like crazy. I know what was going through her mind. Like, she must have been thinking, these people are going to get me. You know, she was totally paying attention to us and nothing else. So nice job by Mr. Avenatti getting her out of there on stride and out of trouble.
It always amazes me, Tim. There's a lot more to this than meets the eye, and harness drivers can make their job look so easy from the sidelines. But man, there's a lot happening in that race bike, isn't there? Especially with a first-time starter.
Absolutely, because his filly, or I don't know if it was a colt or filly race again. I've had a little bit on my mind here, but to keep her attention or his attention from running sideways into the 2 and 3 and wiping them out and staying on gate was a very nice job. And because these, like you said, these horses have never left home. This is a big experience for them today. While we're waiting for them to get down here, Kurt, I will announce the pick a winner because I do believe this is probably official. Cindy Allison gets a nutty bar. Cindy? Right in front again. Okay, thank you.
And here comes winning co-owner and trainer Kevin Miller as he comes trackside leading this group of 3 in the black and gray cap. Kevin, congratulations to you. And also co-owner Bert Hawksprung of Elburn. We should recognize him as well. Kevin Miller trains. Wyatt Avenatti out of Crispin, Illinois is the winning driver. Lonnie Miller of Indiana, the breeder. This winning 2-year-old filly making new friends is by the Indiana-based sire Rockin' Image. This was a $5,000 yearling purchase. How about a hand for making new friends? And there's the State Farm Insurance Mike Kirk agent blanket. And we talked about the fact that Mike is someone, there's Mike in the red shirt. Now, Tim, I forgot to mention this yesterday, but Mark Kingery made a great point. Mark Kingery, he really did. I know you're shaking your head, but he did. He pointed out that Mike Kirk, not only is a former racing official, Mike used to work right over there in the stable area alongside a great late trainer by the name of Wayne Plowman. And so Mike is no stranger to being trackside by a racehorse.
Mike is definitely not. He knows exactly what he's doing. He was smart and went in the insurance agency business, but he knew exactly what he's doing around a racehorse, that's for sure. Hey, and did you notice who was in the winner's circle? A good friend of ours, Daryl Miller.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi, Daryl.
His dad, Amzie, was a great friend of both your and I dads, and I loved going up there and spending time at the Miller household. Boy, could his mom cook. If we ever had a good meal, it was up there.
You know, it was fun to go to the Miller household because you're right. Daryl's mother could cook, and Daryl's father, Amzie, if you had a horse you wanted to sell, if you wanted that horse to look as sharp as it could going through the auction ring, Amzie Miller was your guy. Could he not fit a horse tremendously?
Absolutely the best. Dad loved sending horses up there because when they came back, that was the best day they were ever going to look in their life right then. Absolutely. Miss Amzie a lot, was a great guy. Unfortunately, Daryl's both parents have passed on now, but a lot of good times were had up there for sure. Loved running into him at the sales also. Always great to see him. And for folks that don't know, Daryl came from an Amish family, so his mom was an Amish cook, and we all know what that's like, but she fed you like there was no tomorrow. It was great.
And by the way, Daryl got wed last fall. So, Daryl, please say hello to the missus, to Lisa Forrest. But yes, he married around the first weekend of October. They were going to take their honeymoon in Florida, but the weather was pretty bad at that point. So what did they do? They took their honeymoon at the racetrack.
Where else would you rather go if you couldn't go to Florida, Kurt?
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, here's the order of finish. It's official for that fourth race. From the top, Making New Friends, the winner. Lucky Jade was scratched. Just Chasing Tails, the runner-up. And the Preacher Said was third. 34 seconds at the quarter, 107 at the half, 138 at the 3/4, and the mile 207 and 4/5. Reads down 1 scratch, 2-3. Race number 5 is on the way. No scratches. A reminder, the driver of number 3, Lose Interceptor, Matt Avenatti. Again, that's number 3, Lose Interceptor, Matt Avenatti. And on the 6, Lose Miracle, Wyatt Avenatti. 6, Lose Miracle, Wyatt Avenatti. And number 6, Lose Miracle, is now owned by the Flacco family farms. Seeing Wyatt Avenatti down there a minute ago, our winning driver in race 4, Tim, couldn't help but think we were going through some old Great Midwest pace and trot records, and back in the early 70s, we found where his grandfather, Wyatt's grandfather, Earl Avenatti Sr., drove in the Great Midwest pace. So that Avenatti family, they've got a long connection to this fair, and I think, if I remember correctly, Earl used to train right here at the fairgrounds.
He sure did, Kurt. Yes, he did. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Diane, and when I get back, I'm going to introduce our Clark County Fair Queen and our Junior Clark County Fair Queen to say a quick word of hi to everybody. Diane?
Steve, as we toss it back to the keyboard player over there, we'll bring us back up and do some discussions. We had some chat in our, we've asked for it, asking you shall receive, right? So we've got a couple suggestions for favorite fair foods in our chat. We'll throw out a couple. Got Debbie Ham, loving elephant ears. Would you like, are you an elephant ear or a funnel cake man?
Neither one.
Either
one.
Usually it's one or the other, isn't it? We also got Jessica Sargent from over here in Rushville, and we forgot this one, Steve. Bruisers in Rushville, the livers. She says livers and gizzards, but I say the combo plate. Give me those onion rings too. I have to get one every time I see Bruisers at a fair. I don't ever.
Onion rings. I don't. I would do the livers. I wouldn't do the onions.
What about gizzards?
Not gizzards.
Man, you're missing out.
No.
Everywhere I go.
Liver and onions.
Oh, you want liver and onions?
Liver and onions.
I want them fried because I'm not healthy, but we do. Yeah, Bruisers out of Rushville. If you see them at the fair, they got great food. We appreciate all of them and traveling across the state as well.
Yeah, the girls are giving me some static over here. They all switched their picks because of the driver changes.
Hey, no, that's not how it goes, ladies. In the instance of a pari-mutuel wagering event, if a horse was a late scratch, you either get your money back or you get the next highest finisher just free, basically. Whatever horse was there, you get.
Yeah, I guess Jackie was 1-4-3 for the one.
But I guess
2 races.
Technically you can change your bets until they cross the wire and they say go, right?
Yes,
so
yeah. So the 2, Lisa did. I'm trying to look here. Let's see. It's race 2, 3, 4, 1. That's what I put her down for. And the 6th race. Oh, she's making a change in the 6th race.
Dun dun dun.
4-1-5. Huh.
Are you looking ahead? I was just on the 5th. Okay.
Yeah. 4-1-5.
Well,
now,
you take those, and I can run through the 5th race real quick. You want me to?
Yeah, why don't you? And I'll update our stats.
Perfect. Looking ahead at today's 5th race, we're still in the Topline series, this one being for 3-year-old and up trotters, racing for a purse of $2,000. The Cole Insurance Nathan Bennett Agent sponsored trophy. The one horse is Xena Lou, owned by Flacco Family Farms of Alexis, Illinois, trained by Jill Brown, driven by her husband, Chris Brown. The 2 Mariah Lou is again owned by Flacco Family Farms, trained by Jill Brown, and this one is driven by Jill Brown. The 3 horse Lou's Interceptor is trained again by Jill Brown. This one owned by Deb DeRoos of Charleston. We have a driver, Jordan Patton. I will look to see when they come on the track to see who it is and get you that update. The 4 horse is Fireball's Pride, owned by Charles Doring of Brownstown, Darla Martin Lohman of Effingham, trained by Darla Martin Lohman, driven by our most recent Great Midwest Trot champion driver, Darla Martin Lohman. The 5 horse, Deacon Davids, owned by Ernest Sork of Ernie Sork of Fairfield, Sean Nessa DeCoin, Noreen Nessa of Fairfield, trained by Sean Nessa, driven by Isaac Love. And the 6th horse is Lou's Miracle, owned by Mike Buzzard of Altamont, Chris Paloma of Cedar Rapids, Mike Paloma, Kathy Ritzel, trained by Jill Brown, driven today, make that driver Wyatt Avenatti. Nice competitive, a little bigger field here. We have 6 horses in this one, a little bigger field will make a little more traffic out there for them to have to navigate in this trot. I'll go ahead and handicap mine. We're missing some royalty speak, but I missed the first half of their talk, so we'll go ahead and handicap the 5th race. My picks, are they making changes over there, or are they going to keep what we gave them?
I'm not seeing. I would go ahead and go with.
Okay. Then 5th race, I went 4-6-1. On top, I went to Fireball's Pride at a Darla's barn. Once again, Darla's just a steady, consistent, she takes care of her horses, gives them good trips, and gives them the best chance to perform that they can. Doesn't overdrive if she can help it. So I put her on top. My second choice went to Lose Miracle. I'd like picking up Wyatt on this horse. I think Wyatt might help this horse a little bit. He's driven it, recently in the past. Got a relationship with the horse. I think he's going to come up with second. My third choice went on top to the one horse, Xena Lou, one of the other Brown trainees, this one driven by Chris, to come in third. Where are you guys at? You guys have some picks?
Hang on.
Okay.
I'm just about done with the girls.
Well, I'll say we have officially, Jordan's not driving because Jordan's in the chat, so we have a driver change on the 3. While we're talking about throwing it back to the fair food conversation, we have another suggestion here, Malone's Taffy. Now, I have seen Malone's out, and I've not had any myself, but we will take Rebecca's testimony on this one because I've heard it's pretty good myself. So, love hearing. Rebecca's grandma taught her how to pick a winner. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking here.
I really appreciate the job Tim's doing. This being Memorial Day itself, throwing it up for all the patriotic comments and making everyone stand for the national anthem. It's just pretty cool to see someone care about our veterans and about our armed services, especially the ones that were lost, during conflict. So we appreciate everyone here at the fair, especially Tim and all his hard work.
Absolutely. I don't know what
I'm going to throw it to Kurt if I can catch this conversation real quick.
Great to have his sister Leanne as our charter here today. One thing, when we think about the history of a fair like the Martinsville Agricultural Fair, one of the things that I absolutely treasure are the magazines, the Illinois Standardbred magazines, when Tom was one of their columnists, and he would write a column called County Fair News and Views. Those columns of his and also the feature stories he wrote, I don't know anybody that did more to document the history of Illinois racing. At the state fairs, like at Springfield and DuQuoin, every single year, the track announcer says, oh, that's a state-bred record or that's a season's record. Well, you know how we always knew that? We would get a hold of Tom and Leanne. That's how we would, because if you're an announcer, it seems like one summer disappears, the next one rolls around, and you forget to update your records. So it was always up to Tom and Leanne to bail us out of a jam. But we found a column that Tom wrote from the Martinsville Agricultural Fair in 2001. And he commented in the column, and I wonder if anybody remembers this, 2001, Great Midwest Pace Day. He made a note in his column, there had been a downpour in downtown Martinsville, but not a drop of rain fell at the fairgrounds. And he commented about how unusual that was, that the rain was that close. It's not like downtown's that far from where we are here. But I love those types of things. He paid attention. He paid attention to people. He paid attention to horses. He loved the fairs. Those columns are rich with historical information. And one thing that we plan to do as the summer unfolds from fair to fair is to go back and find some unusual pieces of history that Tom recorded about each fair that probably would have been lost if not for the fact he recorded it. I'll tell you something else about Tom. He knew horses. He bred about a half dozen Illinois State Fair champions. So he made quite an impact on the game. And, of course, was recognized by the Illinois Harness Horsemen's Association back around the 1st of March this year for his lifetime of achievement in this industry. Right now,
Make plans now to attend the 27th Annual Illini Classic Yearling Sale, which takes place on Labor Day at the Illinois State Fairgrounds in Springfield. Once again this year, the catalog will offer not only a strong lineup of Illinois-conceived and foaled yearlings, but also an excellent supporting cast of colts and fillies eligible to other state-bred programs in the Midwest and on the Eastern Seaboard. It's the Illini Classic Yearling Sale, Monday, September 1st, beginning at 11 a.m. Central.
Trainer driver Darla Martin Lohman of Effingham. Number 5, Deacon David, owned by Ernie Sork of Fairfield, Sean Nessa of DuQuoin, Nori Nessa of Fairfield, trained by Sean Nessa, the driver Isaac Love. Deacon David, by the way, Indiana bred. Everybody else, all the other horses are Illinois bred, including the 6 Lou's Miracle, which is now owned by the Flacco family farms of Alexis, trained by Jill Brown. Contrary to the program, the driver Wyatt Avenetti. Number 1, Zena Lou, was third on Friday at the Illinois State Fairgrounds, trotted a mile in 1:58.4. The 2, Mariah Lou, was fourth on Friday, trotted in 2:01. The 4, Fireball's Pride, did not race on Friday, and the 6, Lou's Miracle, was fifth on Friday at Springfield. Tim, I'll tell you something else. You know, you grew up in a racing family, as did I, and our dads went to a lot of fairs, but they didn't go to every single fair. So one of the things I always loved, if you were a kid and you didn't have a driver's license yet, if Tom Shin was going to a fair, like in my case where my dad didn't announce, Tom was always kind to give me a ride and go to the fair. The only time I dropped the ball, I wanted to do something for Tom one day at Taylorville, and he loved blizzards from Dairy Queen. So he said, okay, fine, if you want, buy me a blizzard. I didn't understand what a blizzard was. I went in the store, he waited in the truck, and when the clerk asked what I wanted in the blizzard, I said, I don't know, I guess vanilla ice cream. So Tom and I laughed about that for years. I got him a vanilla blizzard.
I'm sure he really appreciated that, Kurt. And I would like to tell everybody that wasn't here yesterday with us about Tom that he passed away last week. He's the only charter that I've ever known in my history of county fair racing, so he was with us for at least 50 years at the fairs that I know of. His sister Leanne is here and doing the charting now. Leanne, I know he was your best friend. I know how close he was to Kurt. My heart goes out to you. I'm sorry for you. I just want you to know that I appreciate you greatly showing up here the last 2 days for us. I know it's been tough for you. He was a great guy, and he's going to be greatly missed. Our condolences.
And Tim, thank you. Tom indeed made quite an impact on this industry, and we do remember him and all that he contributed. And as Tim said, most of all, not only was he a true professional, but a friend to those of us in the game and to everyone on the fair circuit. Here they come, race 5, top of the stretch, the top line for trotters, age 3 and up, brought to you by Cole Insurance, ready to go. Great to have you with us here today for Harness Racing. Mariah Lou is off stride. The rest are off and trotting. There goes Deacon David from the outside and Zena Lou from the inside. These two come out to contest the early lead. Fireball's Pride is away third, and then Lou's Interceptor, who's down toward the inside, moves up a couple of spots with a ground-saving trip around the first turn. It is Zena Lou who has the lead by a length and a half. Lou's Interceptor goes second by 2 lengths, and Fireball's Pride is third by a length. Deacon David is fourth by 2 lengths. Lou's Miracle travels in fifth, and a gap of 20 more lengths back to Mariah Lou, sixth and last after breaking stride as they came down for the start. The Cole Insurance race, they're past the quarter, and the leader is Zena Lou. 32 seconds for the opening quarter. Zena Lou, a winner of nearly $80,000 lifetime, and she shows the way. On top by 2 lengths. Lou's Interceptor travels along in the second position. There's Fireball's Pride, a winner of over $70,000, taking to the outside from third, 3 lengths off the lead. And then Deacon David and Lou's Miracle. Mariah Lou is the trailer. Coming toward the half here as they pass the stands in the stretch, it is Fireball's Pride who comes moving up to take the lead. Fireball's Pride leads it by 3/4 of a length. It is Zena Lou who's now in second, a length and a half, and Lou's Interceptor is traveling in third. They got the half in 1:05.1. Still side by side for the lead past the stable area, and around the turn they go. Further back, Lou's Miracle just broke stride. Still side by side for the lead, though. Fireball's Pride to the outside has the lead a half length. Zena Lou, a stubborn foe, to the inside in second by 2, and then Lou's Interceptor is third along the inside lane by just a length to Deacon David, who's fourth, and that one's still 5 lengths off the lead. The rest are far back. They're moving on to the final turn. Zena Lou fights on to the inside, and Fireball's Pride on the outside. They got the 3/4 in 1:34.4. 3/4, 1:34.4. They turn for home. Zena Lou is off stride. Zena Lou's on a break, and Fireball's Pride is the leader. And then Lou's Interceptor taking to the outside from third, moving up second, but a good 4 lengths behind the leader. Deacon David is third in deep stretch. Fireball's Pride, Darla Martin Lohman to win the Cole Insurance race. Won it by 2.5 lengths. It was Lou's Interceptor second, Deacon David third. Zena Lou was fourth. Mariah Lou across the line in fifth. as we wrap things up here finally with Lou's Miracle, who will be home 6th to complete the lineup. The time for the mile, 2:06 flat. Time for the mile, 2:06 flat. Fireball's Pride, number 4, your unofficial winner.
Well, Darla did get her second win at least, Kurt. She's had a pretty good day. 2 wins and a second. I think she's going to be happy. I'm sure it's going to bother her a little that she couldn't double dip in the Great Midwest races, but not a bad day here at the Martinsville Ag Fair for Darla at all.
Well, in fact, Tim, you bring up a great point, because for the 2-day race meet here, including her win, she had a win yesterday, so Darla Martin-Lohman now has 3 wins over these 2 days. This is unofficial, by the way, but unofficially, she's got her 3rd win as a trainer and a driver over this 2-day period. Now, we say unofficial because there is a claim of foul. So this is not official. There is a claim of foul against the unofficial winner, number 4, Fireball's Pride. So a claim of foul is pending. This is all unofficial. So our chief steward, Randy Callahan, he's headed down trackside. He will move down and no doubt get some testimony from Darla Martin. We'll follow up, give you more information on the claim of foul in a moment. But Randy will be taking testimony, whether in person or by two-way radio, from the drivers involved. So stand by. We'll update you as soon as there is a further word. We talked about the fact Harness Tube is here this week. And one of the benefits of having Harness Tube on board is the steward can go over to the infield stage, if he so desires, and look at the replay of the race, which can also be a big help. By the way, Tim, and again, this is all unofficial, so a claim of foul is pending. We got a text message here in the judges' stand from an Illinois trainer by the name of Steve Searle. Steve is a very successful horseman, has raced a lot of Illinois champions. In fact, Hoofbeats Magazine, the official publication of the U.S. Trotting Association, just did a big feature on one of his horses. But Steve Searle texted us. He said he's at home today up in northern Illinois, and he said, I had to get the trimmer out, so he said, I'm trimming weeds around the property, but he said, I'm loving the races on Harness Tube. So to Steve Surratt, Lisa Surratt, and also to David Brink, a big thank you, because I know our horsemen appreciate the chance to tune in when they can't be here in person.
That's great to hear, Kurt, and I've known Steve a long time, a really good guy, had some real nice trotters of late and over the years, just an outstanding horseman and a good guy. Kurt, it looks like Randy's walking over here to review some video. So I'll tell you, I'll give the fans a little bit of what happens at the pari-mutuels when this happens. So if I've been called into the steward, there's been an objection or an inquiry against myself at the track for driving, if they think I pushed somebody out or got too close to somebody, what they'll do is they'll call me in, they clear the office out, I'm on the phone then talking to the 3 stewards. I'll finish just a second. So, of course, as a driver, I'm going to go in there and say, listen, Judge, I know it might have been a little bit tight, but I'm here to win. I may have pushed him a little, but I certainly didn't bother him at all. And I don't know what you guys were seeing up there, but I thought I had plenty of room without endangering anybody. Now, if I was the person that thought I got interfered with, I'd be saying this story. I'd be saying, come on, guys. You know I had him trapped in there. He's forcing his way out every race. He's putting his wheel underneath me, and he's shoving me out. When are you guys going to stop letting this happen out here so I can win a horse race without getting run all over the racetrack? So there's going to be 2 sides to this story, and it's going to be the same in every time you go talk to the stewards. So I don't know how much they listen to us at the pari-mutuels, but they have where Randy has one angle, they have 5 different angles where they can see from head on, behind you, and at both angles and from the top. Plus, they have a patrol judge in the car that's going to tell them what he saw following the race around the track. Because unlike here, the starting car will follow the racetrack or follow the horses around the racetrack all the way until the top of the stretch, and then he'll pull off so he doesn't get in the fans' way. But so you have a lot of eyes on you, and it can get a little bit heated sometimes after a race. I mean, I wouldn't be lying. It's just like every other competition. You see it in basketball, baseball, whatever it might be. When there's victories and money on the line and you get competitive people, sometimes it can get a little interesting, even at your best friends. They may be your best friend, but at that point, we're enemies.
And one quick note, the Cole Insurance blanket will go to the winner of Race 5, so that also hangs in the balance. Our thanks to Agent Nathan Bennett and everyone with Cole Insurance. Every time we see the Bennett name, we certainly think harness racing, and we appreciate Cole Insurance, as they, like the rest of us, are just waiting to see who's going to take home that blanket. But you make a great point, Tim. At the pari-mutuels, there are so many different camera angles, and obviously, budgetary concerns don't allow for that at the county fairs, but sometimes we've had folks that will do with their phone a Facebook live stream. Today, we've got the camera set up down trackside from our friends at Harness Tube, and our judge, our chief steward, Mr. Callahan, continues to review the video of the race there on the infield. So at least we have a few more things at our disposal than we once did.
Yes, and I also might point out at the pari-mutuel, Kurt, there's 3 judges always. So it's a majority wins. It doesn't have to be 3-0, but 2-1 will always win, and I'll finish after Tim waters the track.
You know, Tim, we were just chatting up here in the judges' stand with our chief timer, Mark Kingery, and of course, Mark has trained and driven his share of horses. Mark just pointed out, some of us are old enough to remember when Martinsville still had stands located on the infield just right off the racing surface, one over toward the first turn and one over toward the far turn, where a judge or a steward could stand, and at least you had a set of eyes that was right there on top of the action in each turn, because the idea being, in the turns, it seems like, is where a lot of things start to unfold when you're not going in a straight line and so on and so forth. So I just wondered, do you remember back when they used to have those stands?
I actually do. I don't remember the people standing in them, but I remember them being there. So I'm not sure if they were actually still using people in there, but I do remember them being there, yes. And going back to the pari-mutuel thing, so once they decide, and it may take 10 to 15 minutes, the 3 stewards, to make up their mind, because there's a lot of money being wagered and a lot of purse money at stake a lot of times. So, but once they come out of there, if it's 2-1, you're never going to know it. They always come out as a group. Even if I thought, oh, Kurt, you didn't bother him, but the other 2 stewards thought, yes, Kurt, you interfered. When we come out of that room, it's all 3 of us saying, Kurt, you interfered, sorry. You know, so you try to plead your case and do all you can, but it's a tough job being a steward. I would not want to do it. I really wouldn't.
I would agree. I remember learning that at a young age. When I started calling races at age 16, my father pointed that out. He said, always respect the fact that for the stewards, their day doesn't end when the last race is done. They have to follow up. If there's ever a situation where, let's say there's a disqualification, someone can protest the protest. So they have to fill out the forms, send it to the U.S. Trotting Association. I suppose today, maybe less paperwork, a lot of it's done electronically, but still, it's time-consuming. So for those of us who talk for a living, that last race hits the wire. Here's your order of finish. Good night, everybody. We hang the microphone up, and we get to go home. But the stewards don't always have that benefit.
In a situation like this, it's poor Randy, he's got one view to look at here on a camera. Hopefully, I'm not sure what kind of angle they even have on this, and it's one guy's decision. It's a tough spot for Randy. That's why he makes the big bucks, though, I guess, Kurt. But it's a very tough spot to be in.
And you saw that Randy just walked out toward the infield to get clear of the loudspeakers and got on his cell phone and no doubt was taking more testimony from other drivers in that 5th race. So the steward's decision will be coming soon, and we do appreciate all of our racing officials as well as our horsemen. Yeah, I got to tell you, Tim, you can probably – I have to say, when a track announcer or even a steward talks about Their day isn't always done at the last race. I can imagine the horsemen back there saying, please, please cry me a river, because horsemen can have really, really long days.
Yeah, the last race will get over, and then the probably the last race horses will get cooled out in about an hour and a half, and then who knows how long a drive they have, Kurt. Somebody may have a 3 or 4 hour ship to get home from here. They're not lucky enough to live in Martinsville or in Greenup. So, yeah, that's going to be a long day, and think about they started that ship 3 or 4 hours and then got here a couple hours early. So some people may have left at 6 or 7 this morning and are going to get home at 7 or 8 tonight. So hopefully they make money and have a good time here at the fair. Hey, Kurt, Randy was giving me a hard time about coaching the drivers in the what to say to him. So I really wasn't trying to give out pointers, but you might have been could tell I've been called in a time or two before in a horse race.
You have been there and done that, as the saying goes. Well, we can tell you this, folks. Here's an update. The stewards have completed their review. The claim of foul has been disallowed, so the result will stand as is. The result will stand as is. There will be no change in the result. So the winner remains Fireball's Pride, owned by Chuck Doring of Brownstown and Darla Martin Loman of Effingham. Darla, the trainer-driver. The time for the mile, 2:06. Let's go ahead and pass along. First of all, Tim, have you got to pick a winner draw there?
I do, and I just have a first name, Sharon. How many Sharons we have here? But just wrote her first name on there. Right down here? Okay, great.
Also, before we give you that full field rundown, remember in the upcoming 6th race, scratch number 2. The upcoming 6th race, scratch number 2, Audie beat you to it. Okay, here's the full field rundown. It's official for race 5. Zena Lou finished 4. Mariah Lou finished 5. Lou's Interceptor, the runner-up. Fireball's Pride, the winner. Deacon David, 3, and Lou's Miracle, 6. They got the quarter in 32. The half was 105 and 1. 3/4, 134 and 4/5, and the time for the mile was 2:06 flat, and it reads 4:52.136. So that brings us to race 6. The Snurley and Company Topline for Pacers age 3 and up. Scratch number 2, Audie beat you to it. A reminder that there are a couple of driver changes on the 1 Seaside Streaker, Kajavian Carter. That is Kajavian with a Q. Kajavian Carter drives the 1. On the 4 Phillies Revenge, Wyatt Avenatti. Number 4 Phillies Revenge, Wyatt Avenatti. And number 5, the Hulkster, Jill Brown. Those are the changes. A chance here to see a former Great Midwest Pace winner, because number 4, Phillies Revenge, won her division of the Great Midwest Pace a couple of years ago here at the Martinsville Agricultural Fair, so we know she likes this racetrack. And by the way, she's coming off a win at Springfield on Friday, 154 and 2.
Make plans now to attend the 27th Annual Illini Classic Yearling Sale, which takes place on Labor Day at the Illinois State Fairgrounds in Springfield. Once again this year, the catalog will offer not only a strong lineup of Illinois-conceived and foaled yearlings, but also an excellent supporting cast of colts and fillies eligible to other state-bred programs in the Midwest and on the Eastern Seaboard. It's the Illini Classic Yearling Sale, Monday, September 1st, beginning at 11 a.m. Central.
David, as we come back now, we want to thank our advertisers. Some of them are billboards that you're seeing, like ADI and those people. And we thank them, all of our advertisers. We can always use more advertisers. Let's go to this. You can, if you want to move that slide on.
Sure. We'll advance it.
On up.
Is that it?
Keep
One more?
going.
Okay.
One more.
There we go.
You can donate and help YouTube stay free.
Yes, please.
That's our goal. We don't want to be charging unit out here. We'd love for people to donate if you watch a lot. And I say this to my basketball and football people. If you're watching every night, if you were to pay to go to a game, and in this case, if you were to
good.
to drive
Right.
You know, it would cost you. So you can do it with Venmo at Harness Tube, PayPal at Harness Tube, or you can send a check at P.O. Box 63. And with that, we want to thank our sponsors that are on the board now. They help us, have already helped us and made donations.
Yes, yes.
And we want to thank them for that.
And we love seeing those repeat donors every year, the ones that show us love and let us know how much they appreciate what we're doing.
And then we got a thing called From the Backstretch. You can text message or send it to an email address. We'd love to have pictures. I didn't get the picture on this
we got a picture of Fox Valley Key. We didn't get in the broadcast yet, but we do have it in file somewhere.
Yep.
And, you know, just for instance, I just got a text from trainer Steve Searle. I was running out to the bathroom real quick, and I checked my phone and got a text from him thanking us for what we're doing and appreciating what we're putting out for the fans to watch. And you made a good point. You know, keeping it free is always the goal. We know we want to make it as easy as we can for anyone to watch and enjoy harness racing in the state of Illinois.
And absolutely. We got 2 nights down here. We had to drive 3 hours to get down here. It's time out of our day. You take vacation time on some days to come do this, so you're eating your vacation time up. I'm just kind of semi-retired. Lisa's retired. You know, we're having a fun time doing it. But it does cost us meal-wise and things like that to get there. So
Airbnbs,
we'd appreciate that.
Fuel.
But we also want your input besides helping us out with either, you know, an ad or whatever.
The YouTube chat has been a big swing for us. I think that's pretty easy and concise for people to kind of keep their comments in there. But we still accept texts. We still accept emails. We still accept, you know, any way if you have one of our numbers, reach out. We love hearing from it. We love sharing your presence with our fans.
All right. You can go ahead and hit the next slide. I think there's another one. Don't forget to subscribe or follow as David's sons. That's the one ad I forgot to get in there.
It's okay.
Subscribe and follow us on YouTube. On YouTube, it's on the underside. You can see subscribe, and then follow us on YouTube or on Facebook. We would love to have you do that. We're about ready to get started here. David, do we need to talk about picks or anything, or are we just going to go to racing?
My pick's 4-5-2, and I will give a quick shout-out to JJ Carter making, I think, his second lifetime drive today out here, so we wish him luck and a safe trip out there. But where are you guys' picks at real quick?
4-2-1 for me, and 4-1-5 for Lisa, and Jackie 1-3-4.
So someone will get some points made up here.
Yeah, we're all pretty much, 3 of us picked the 4 to win.
They are off and pacing, and there goes Philly's Revenge, and there goes Hermia's Star. They both have early speed as they head into the first turn. Seaside Streaker comes away in third as they race around the turn toward the quarter-mile mark. The Hulkster will be last of the 4. Philly's Revenge is the leader. She has wrestled the lead away from Hermia's Star, and she's opened up on a 5-length lead. And you can tell just looking at Wyatt Avenatti leaning back in the race bike, he's kind of saying, okay, girl, we've got a long way to go here. Let's try to rate some of that speed that you've got. But she keeps opening up here. Her lead is out to 8 lengths. Opening quarter, the fastest opening quarter over the 2 days of racing, 28 flat, 28 seconds flat. She blazed that opening quarter and now starts to relax as they move to the top of the stretch after the 3/8 mile mark. So Philly's Revenge showing you that, she still has that form that she showed us 2 years ago in the Great Midwest Pace. Here she is, a cheer from the crowd as she cruises on by the half-mile mark. She is the real deal, and she leads it by a dozen lengths now. 56-3 was the time for the first half mile. 56-3. Philly's Revenge is rolling on past the stable area and once again over to the backstretch. Her advantage is now some 18 lengths back to Seaside Streaker, who's second by 2. Then the Hulkster is third by 8 lengths, and Hermia Star is last of the 4. Just over a quarter mile to go. Philly's Revenge, a winner of over $100,000 lifetime. She leads by 20 lengths into the final turn. 1:26, the time for the 3/4. That has got to be one of the fastest 3/4 mile mark times in the history of the Martinsville Agricultural Fair. They turn for home. It is Philly's Revenge, 20 lengths to the good, less than 1/8 of a mile to go. Here she is, folks, a former Great Midwest champion, and she is as good as ever. Philly's Revenge. Wyatt Avenatti with his second win on the card. Philly's Revenge takes the Snurley and Company Topline race. It was Seaside Streaker second, the Hulkster third, and Hermia Star in fourth. The time for the mile, 1:56 and 4. 1 minute, 56 and 4/5 seconds.
Steve, we're back. What a mile that was. How
Wow,
about
how
Philly's
Incredible
Revenge
mile
today?
right there, Kurt.
Wow. How
you could definitely
exciting.
tell.
Isn't that crazy? That mare still got it out there. It's good to see Wyatt kind of get her bit relaxed out there going to the quarter and try to rate those fractions. But, wow, she had plenty in the tank to hold off her foes by open margins in today's sixth race.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't they announce she's a former Great Midwest Pace champion, I
Yeah,
believe?
that's what they said,
so
yes.
pretty cool to see that $100,000 earning locally, Illinois County Fair owned filly, or mare now, back on the circuit here in Martinsville.
Yeah, it's 4.15. You got a 4.52. I had a 4.21. Guess who got all three right? 4.15 would be Lisa Surratt.
Your wife, yeah.
With 18 points on that.
Can make up some points doing that real quick.
Yeah, she's up to 124 points. She ain't going to make it up all at once, but she's brought the pack. She caught up really close to me. David on that ended up getting 10, 11 points.
Was JJ second in that race? The one horse? I think so. And then looks like Jill was third.
It's a 4.15.
Yeah, okay. Wow, I didn't catch that.
She got all that. You got 11 points in the bracket.
I'm just tickled for JJ. How about that? Out there in his second lifetime start, picking up a distant second, but second pays the same anyway, right?
That's right. I got 11 points that round. And let's see what your mom did here. 2.35. She got 3 points. So she slipped back in that race. My updated points, and I'm sure that I've got somebody that's going to tell me that I'm wrong. You're at 151 points in the lead. Jackie is 141 points. I'm 138. Lisa creeping up there with 124 points.
I feel like I need like a 10-point handicap on you guys because I should be kicking your butts, right?
Well, I don't know.
It's funny how even if you think you know what you're talking about, these are animals. This is nature. Anything can happen at any time, and the best of the best are hard to handicap 100%.
Absolutely. I keep forgetting that number 6 is our logo down there at the bottom.
I will figure
it out. Yeah, what a great race. I mean, what a great show
mile.
Of horsemen.
We were looking at the three-quarter, Kurt. Now, that might have been the fastest three-quarter time at this fair. I thought we might get close to a track record. I looked it up real quick. The track record, I think, is 1:55.1 by Fox Valley Jackson for Larry Binkley, probably about 25 years ago. But Philly's Revenge, a filly, that's probably the fastest filly mark on this track if I had to guess. Mare, she's aged now. I keep forgetting.
Nice looking horse.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the things you sit out here and look, and you just look at horses side by side. Yesterday there was a pretty gray and roan colored horse.
Blue Band Express was gray.
Gray and just a little bit of roan still thrown in there.
Down there, bottom of the legs and on the face and stuff. We'll throw it back to Kurt for the winner circle ceremonies.
At the Martinsville Agricultural Fair. She won here as a 2-year-old. She won the Great Midwest as a 3-year-old. She did not race here last year. She comes back at age 5. Folks, she's never lost on this racetrack. How about a hand for Philly's Revenge? And Tim, I love the cheer from the crowd. There is something there's always something special about a good horse, but especially a good filly or mare.
Absolutely, and we know horse racing here in Martinsville, and the fans appreciate a great effort by that mare. Whoop, whoop. She's got a little bit more in the tank, Kurt.
Got a little bit of attitude, doesn't she? But that's all right. I think a trainer likes that.
We like that attitude, Kurt. Yes, we do.
Now, Nan is reporting from trackside that Philly's Revenge has a baby brother Just foaled last night? Wow.
Oh.
Talk about a timely update. So there is a newborn foal that is a full brother to Philly's Revenge. Are you willing to sell him? Is it a colt or a filly? It's a colt. So Nan and her trainer John Fletcher, they got home from the fair yesterday at Martinsville and found a newborn foal. Is that it? Wow. Well, congratulations. The family is growing. Folks, we hope to see baby brother racing here sometime.
Absolute. Kurt, you could be just like this, could be like at Keeneland or Fasig-Tipton. You could read the pedigree. I could start the auction right now. I could be Danny Green. I've always wanted to do it. Let's sell this thing.
Absolutely. It would be a timely sale. We've just seen Big Sister with a pretty impressive performance. Congratulations, Nan Turner, and also John Fletcher and Wyatt Avenetti. Judge, are we official here? Thank you, sir. He says we are. Here's the full field rundown for race 6. Seaside Streaker, the runner-up. Audie beat you to it, was scratched. Hermia Star, 4th. Philly's Revenge, the winner. And the Hulkster finished 3rd. 28 seconds at the quarter, 56 and 3 at the half. 3 quarters, 126. And the time for the mile, 156 and 4. Reads down 2 scratch 4, 1 3. 7th race on the way. No scratches in race 7. Tim, we're going to kick it back to you, and we will wrap up race 6 by saying we will start digging through the record books to see if that might not be the fastest mile over this track by a filly or mare. We will follow up in a day or two. Horse Talk Today, the Facebook page, Horse Talk Today. We will post an update. I'm going to say by tomorrow morning. Well, let's say by tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock it'll be posted.
Yoder Custom Woodworking was started in 1995 by the Yoder family as a retail Amish furniture store in Sullivan, Illinois. They offer custom kitchen cabinets, granite and quartz countertops, built-in office and bathroom cabinetry, and offer a wide range of Amish furniture. Their store is located at 1117 West Jackson Street in Sullivan, Illinois, with store hours Tuesday through Friday 9 to 4:30 and Saturday 9 to 3. For more information, contact Yoder Custom Woodworking at 217-728-2166.
Something special planned for this. I'm going to take over the race until they say go. So you might want to
leave you on mic. Yeah, absolutely. Did you hear that? I think Tim might do some announcing or something to call, so leave him on mic whenever we go.
Okay.
Oh, we're up. I thought we were down.
Nope, we're up. And
yeah, we're chatting with Tim Wilson there real quick. Some special little treat I think he has planned.
Put this fair on and keep it going, and we're still trying to make it grow.
David, let's come back and talk about some of the things we need to talk about, because this is the last race here.
I'll try to keep an eye on Tim for the special treat, but yeah, go ahead.
Let's see if we have any more slides that you have there. We can go to that one and see if we got some more slides from the backstretch. We talked about that a little bit.
And celebrating the 75th Annual Great Midwest Trot and Pace, throw us your favorite memory over your favorite win, your favorite whatever. We'd like to talk about those and share them with our fans.
All right, and we'll go on and see if we got, because we got to finish those up. And advertise with us. Hey, 30-second ad with us. Give David a call, 312-772-5122.
A lot of twos
if
in
you'd
there.
like to advertise, we can make the commercial up for you if you send us some pictures and what you'd like talked about. We can do all that for you. And then you can have the ad to run
on your local
station or whatever you want to do with it. But I can tell you from what I do, David's ads are reasonable.
To this man right here for 2 days of racing, Kurt. Without him, we wouldn't be doing it. We owe him for that grandstand that you all are sitting in. It's such a beautiful grandstand now compared to a grandstand that had been falling down for ever since I was a kid, and that was a long time ago. So thanks to Bobby for all you've done. Bobby, the fairgrounds looks great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
With that, I will turn it over to Diane one last time.
I'll bring myself back up. I guess I lied. That wasn't the special treat, but we're facing our last race of the Martinsville Fair today, huh? How about that?
Wow.
We're looking at the 7th race.
Race
Again,
7.
We're looking at the top line. This one being the Colts and Gildings for 3-year-old and up pacers. After last race, we hopefully have another fast mile out here again today. We want to thank everyone on the fair board. You know, they've been so hospitable. We just saw the fair board president up there giving a little quick speak, thanking everyone for what they do out here. And, you know, I can't state enough. When you see these guys out here with dirty boots and dirty gloves out here, they roll up their sleeves and picking up trash. It doesn't get any better. These people who care about their fair so much, and it's a beautiful thing.
They're bucking the trend.
Yes.
Everybody else is looking to shorten things up and taking some things away. And this fair is going the opposite direction.
They say, here's our event. How can we get people to our event? We're going to do it. We want people here. We don't want to just do what people want. We want to do something new, something exciting. Add more days back in, make the fair longer, all those sort of things.
Well, and I hope other fairs see that we don't take people out of the seats. What we do is create the excitement for people to come to your fair. So there's people watching. I don't care if it's Brown County, Menard County, where it's at. We're going to encourage people to go to their local fairs.
Well, for instance, Deb Ham's watching today back in Mount Sterling. She probably wouldn't end up in Carrollton on Wednesday, but after today, makes you know some horses and drivers. It's a little more exciting if you know what you're looking at, you know who to follow. So someone like that may show up at Carrollton on Wednesday.
And normally she would only watch in Brown County.
Yeah. But it's kind of close. It's an hour away, so maybe something that, someone close might hit over there.
And Leanne Shin talked about it. She got to saw tracks last year that she has
Leanne's
never
been doing this for so long and had never seen these tracks, but just to see, a video, it shows you what's going on there. You get if you're a horseman, kind of how the track lays out, what the nooks and crannies of it, all the lumps and rolls.
And so that's with that. As we get into the 7th race, let's talk about that a little bit. Our last race.
You want to handicap it or want me to?
Well, I can do Lisa and I's and Jackie's. I'll let you talk about yours. But Lisa and I picked the 3-horse Vertical Speed with Wyatt Avenatti at the reins on that horse. I went with the 4-horse in second, Chris Brown with Revelry. That horse has got a pretty good history.
Yeah.
Lisa went with the 2-horse Mac Diesel, and we've seen that horse do some good things in the past. It was a really good 2-year-old. Kind of struggled a little bit.
Well, that was one that I think Flacco's who claimed out east and given to the Browns to kind of race around these local Midwestern races and fairs. And Jill Brown must have been falling in love with that horse because she takes that horse to all the amateur events. So when Jill drives in an amateur event, an amateur race per se at a pari-mutuel track, she usually drives a Mach Diesel. So they must have a really special connection. I love seeing that out there, that kind of connection between horseman and horse itself.
And Lisa and I just flip-flopped our second and third spots. Jackie picked the number 1 horse, La Parca. Matt Avenatti driving that. Jill Brown trained. Then she went with the 3-horse, Vertical Speed, in second place. And then Captain Warrior, J.T. White driven, Mikey Rogers owned horse.
I'll give my picks real quick. I went 4, 2, 3. I think Steve kind of touched on who the horses are and what they're doing. My picks 4, 2, 3. And how about this, Steve? Look at the screen right there.
Wow. Deb Ham, 3 hens and a chick. I
hope to come Wednesday.
Hey,
so
wow.
We're bringing fans to fairs. How about that? We're bringing fans out to fairs, hopefully. So we want to thank everyone for following along. Thank you for your picks. And, we'll see what happens with today's nightcap. I say nightcap. It's like 3 o'clock. But
all right. We'll turn it over to Kurt.
Cultural Fair. Number 1, La Parca, owned and trained by Jill Brown of Charleston, owned also by John Huddleston of Mattoon. Contrary to the program, the driver, Matt Avenatti. 2, Mach Diesel, owned by the Flacco family farms, trained and driven by Jill Brown. Mach Diesel was just 5th at Springfield on Friday with a beaten time of 1:57.2. 3, Vertical Speed is owned by Kevin and Daryl Miller of Arthur, trained by Kevin Miller, Wyatt Avenatti in the bike. 4, Revelry is owned by Jackson Loy of Beecher City, Candy Herzog of Beecher City, trained by Jill Brown. Contrary to the program, the driver, Chris Brown. Revelry was 4th. despite having broken equipment on Friday. Raced a big mile at Springfield with a beaten time of 1:57. And number 5, Captain Warrior, owned by Jennifer Law of Springfield. It is her first time to own a harness horse. Owned also by Eligio Boccia of Chicago Heights. Trained by Mike Rogers, driven by J.T. White. And Captain Warrior raced on Friday at Springfield, 4th, with a beaten time of 1:57 and 1. It is the Topline. We talked about the fact the Topline is open to the world. It is not restricted to Illinois breds. Number 1 is Pennsylvania bred. The 2, Mock Diesel, Ontario bred. 3, Vertical Speed, is Illinois bred. 4, Revelry, is Pennsylvania bred. And likewise, the 5, Captain Warrior, Pennsylvania bred. Tim, just out of curiosity, we're watching the number 1, La Parca, over on the backstretch. And Matt Avenatti has done an excellent job of working with this horse. The horse, it looked like he didn't want to turn to go to the gate. He started backpedaling, so now Matt got off the bike and doing what a good horseman does. He's going to just kind of gently encourage him. Hey, buddy, we got to go to work. Have you ever had horses that didn't want to go to the gate?
Unfortunately, occasionally, yes. And at the pari-mutuel tracks, we have an outrider that will assist you when you're having a problem like that. Fortunately, we don't have that, but Matt was able to get that done nicely himself, and it looks like he's underway. Because usually once they get headed that way, then they're good.
And that's the thing that always amazes me. Once they get to the gate, they're fine. They know what they're supposed to do, and they're ready to race. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting them to turn to face the gate.
Some of them just don't get real excited about turning sometimes. So, hey, Kurt, you're the best in the business. We appreciate you coming every year. It wouldn't be the same fair without you. So I've got a little something that I was working on. So this is for, I hope I don't make a fool of myself, Kurt, but we're going to try it. This is to my dad, Phil Reeds, Lowell Bennett, all the guys that have passed, Dick Denham, who've made this fair, Wayne Plowman, what it is. I can't give you right now because it's not the right time. There's a wall of horses behind the leader, and pacers are coming from everywhere. But what I can give you is, here they come.
I love it, Tim. I love it. That was the way my father would bring them down for the start with that extended, here they come. And they are off and pacing, and into the first turn they go in the final race of the 2025 Martinsville Agricultural Fair. Vertical Speed moves up on the outside and takes the lead from a stubborn Mock Diesel in second. La Parca is off stride and drops back from third to last. In the meantime, Revelry moves by along the inside lane into third. Captain Warrior is fourth. La Parca is back pacing, but fifth and racing 8 lengths off the lead. They go by the quarter-mile mark with Vertical Speed on top, 29 seconds, a good honest pace here. Vertical Speed is the leader, leads it by just a length. Mock Diesel racing second, a length and a half, and then as they race around the turn comes Revelry back in the third position. To the person who keeps calling my cell phone, I'm calling a race at the moment. I will call you back after the race. They come to the half-mile mark, halfway home in race 7, and here comes Chris Brown with Revelry. Revelry moves up on the outside, and Revelry is up to challenge Vertical Speed. 59 and 1 for the first half mile, 59 and 1/5 seconds. They swing around the turn and race toward the 3/4 mile mark. It is Vertical Speed the leader. Vertical Speed to the inside, Revelry on the outside. A neck separates the top two. Mock Diesel is racing in third, a length and a half. La Parca fourth up on the outside. The field's well bunched, and Captain Warrior is last of the 5 as they go by the 3/4 mile mark, and it is still side by side for the lead. You've got Revelry on the outside. Vertical Speed still leads it on the inside. Mock Diesel is looking for some racing room. 3/4, 129 flat at the 3/4, and just over an eighth of a mile to go. Vertical Speed, the only Illinois bred in the field, has the lead by 3 lengths over Mock Diesel. Coming off the turn, it is Vertical Speed with Wyatt Avenatti. Wyatt, 3 wins on the day. The Illinois bred Vertical Speed wins race 7 at the Martinsville Agricultural Fair, taking his division of the Topline for older pacers. After that, it was Mock Diesel home second, La Parca third, Revelry fourth, and Captain Warrior was home in fifth. 1 minute 58 and 1/5 seconds. 1:58 and 1. We have closed out with some sizzling fast miles. Vertical Speed, 19th career win, and gets his first win of 2025. Stay with us. We'll beat the winner. We'll play Pick a Winner, and we'll wrap things up.
Kurt, I was just informed by Bob Zellers, too. They are going to try to get this virtual harness driving set up in the Lynn Pavilion. So the goggles, we're trying to get them working. It's going to be a test run. But hopefully, if you would like to try to see what it's like to sit behind a harness horse, you will have that opportunity, hopefully, after the races. Oh, okay. Thank you, guys.
Taking a look at our final statistics from the two-day race meet here at Martinsville. With that win, Wyatt Avenetti will lead all drivers for the day with 3 wins. He and Darla Martin-Lohman will tie with 3 wins apiece over the two-day race meet here to lead all drivers. Among trainers, Darla Martin-Lohman with 3 wins, Kevin Miller with 3 wins, and Jamaica Patton had 3 wins here yesterday. So congratulations to all. Tim?
Dale Galbraith, you are, is this race official? Kurt, your unofficial winner? We're good to go? Okay. Dale Galbraith, if you would wave where you're. Thank you very much. We've got you. You win a shake-up. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for attending the 2025 Martinsville Fair. Great lineup the rest of the week. We'll see you again next year. I'm sure we'll hopefully have 2 days again. Remember to tell a friend what a great time you had. Thanks again to the folks from Harness Tube. They're the best in the business. Thanks to Kurt Becker, the absolute best announcer. I hope I did your dad justice. I think he'd have got a kick out of that.
Absolutely, you did. Enjoyed it, Tim. And, folks, how about a hand for our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Tim Wilson, Jr.?
All right. We want to thank all those people also for making it possible.
Absolutely.
Makes our job really, really easy when we have track people like that.
And Tim knows the fans. He gets engaged with the crowd. It just adds so much to it to have that, that engagement with the fans while we're watching some good races.
I don't think we have any inquiries. I think that finish is going to be it. And so, David, to finish up the point things.
Okay, where are we at there?
Well, you're still in the lead with 153 points.
Okay.
But thanks to 11 points in that race and the race before, I have a total of 149.
Okay.
And then comes your mom with 143 and Lisa with 139. So 4 points between me and you. 6 points between me and your mom, and 4 points between Lisa and your mom.
There's only 14 points from top to bottom or something?
From
that's one race. If you nail one trifecta, you can flip-flop the table right there.
The points look like this coming in. David won the day with 84 points. Second in the day was Lisa with 77 points, Jackie 73 points, and I was last with 68. So if I had not had 81 and had a 11-point lead, I'd been in big trouble.
Sometimes you need those buffer zones, don't you?
Absolutely. We want to thank everybody for watching. We want to thank our sponsors. Thank my wife and Jackie for the camera work that they did both days. And it's good to have your mom along spelling Lisa, but also I think she had a great time.
She enjoyed it.
Being out of the house.
She enjoyed the vacation. She enjoys being a part of Harness Tube. She feels honored to run the camera. I feel like I need to pay her something, but we appreciate everyone's work, all to make this effort happen. It's not an easy lift, but it feels good to be back in race season, doesn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it does. And it'll be good when all the rust comes off.
I think the rust is flaking off, but it feels good to be in the motions,
Yes.
So
we'll be at
Carrollton on
Wednesday. And so we'd love to have you there at the Carrollton Fair for that. In the next week after that, we've got Carlinville, 2 Decatur dates the next week. And so for Steve Surratt, David Brink, Lisa Surratt, Jackie Bowen,
and the entire Martinsville Agriculture Fair,
we'll see you
in the winner's circle.
All right.